man. What the fuck was that?
What the hell was that?
She never told me recording was in progress before. She was giving you guys a warning.
Well, now you have to consent. That's interesting. Maybe it's a new feature of Zoom. Make sure you know everything's on the up and up.
Can you guys hear the ringing?
Nope.
Yeah.
So is this just a voice line?
Hello.
Patricia, it's Mike D from the Usual Saints.
Oh my gosh. Hang on a sec. Let me load this. Shut it off. Hold on. Quiet. What's the quiet? Hi.
Hey, I just wanted to check in because you told me to call you. If you're good at 4, we could still do 4. We could do a little pre-talk before we get you on, and then we can reach back out to you, or if you want to Zoom in, whatever you want to do. We're on Zoom right now, so I can send you a link if you'd like, but we can still do 4 if you want.
Zoom? I'm not ready for a Zoom. I thought we were just doing like conversation.
We could just do a phone call if you want. Do you want to do it at 4, like you said, or what?
Yeah, do it at 4 because then I got to go out. I'm not like I'm in the middle of getting out of a shower. Do a Zoom.
No worries. We could do it at 4. So
Okay.
I'll call you back at 4. All right.
Okay, sweetheart. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, that'd have been such a better if she'd just gotten out of the shower and was on the Zoom. That'd have been great. I'm like, do not miss this episode.
Don't know about that. Don't know if I want to see the. Just being honest there.
So that's fun. Hey, welcome to the Usual Saints. We'll just start off with all that. So, hey, maybe we'll actually have Tan Mom. It looks like maybe not on Zoom, but maybe we'll have a nice phone call with her in a little bit. We'll see. Not live streaming, whatever. I'm not gonna do the live stream today. Fuck that. So hey, what's been going on, guys? I just got back from shopping. I got some news about some stuff, but let's check in with Baldy first. Hey, how's it going, Chief? What's going on with you? How's work? How's life? Oh, he's not going to respond because I called him Baldy.
I was waiting for Sainte. I talked to him.
Sainte's like,
as I twirl my hair around, like, yeah. Not with these gorgeous locks.
Yeah, I didn't know Vinny was on this week. What the hell? Anyway, nothing. Just done working midnights finally for a little while.
Well, that's good. Does that mean that you're more available for the show because you know, we always kind of have to squeeze you in, hopefully, and we got you this week. So yay!
I got more days off. That's all.
Okay.
We'll see how it works.
About all this family time, you're spending too much time with the family, I think. Maybe a little less. The kids don't care to see you. They're playing their games. The wife maybe, but you know.
The wife likes to hang out sometimes. She's got better things to do most of the time, but
I want to go see Quiet Place 2 tonight or sometime this weekend. So I'll see if I can get that done. My first time in a movie theater because me and Heather are vaccinated. Sophie's got her first vaccine. So we feel safe. We're going to wear our masks. We're going to do everything appropriately. And as long as it's not too busy, I'll venture out. We'll see how it is. If it's horrible, maybe we'll just ask for a refund and leave. I don't know.
I think Christine and Chris might be going to see that themselves.
Yeah.
What are you going to see?
4 o'clock.
What are you going to see?
Quiet Place 2.
Yeah, they're going at 4 o'clock apparently.
I know.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we got Jeremy for 2 hours. We know Jeremy's not going to see a scary movie. So
that's right.
We're supposed to come out before COVID hit.
I got nothing going on. Nothing. Mike.
She can pop in if she wants.
She can't.
Fuck Mike. Fuck you.
Fuck you, Mike.
Fuck you, Christine.
She can't hear you.
I know.
Love.
She'll hear the podcast later.
No, she won't.
I love that.
No.
I love that neither you or her have completed a video for me.
When do you need it by?
Tomorrow would be nice. Monday would be better.
Video tonight.
Okay. He wants your video for his dad.
I'll do it tonight.
She said she'll do it tonight.
All right. Thanks.
He also said fuck you too.
Sainte, see, isn't this wonderful? I've known Christine, a decade now, 11 years, and this has always been our relationship. You know, I call her a cunt. It's all good. We have a nice fun relationship. He's got that annoying rat dog.
This dog is cute and you know it.
Nah.
Rat.
All right. Anyway,
Bite me.
Saint, what's been going on with you? You have any interest in seeing Quiet Place too? I bet you do. But
I enjoyed part one and part two. Like I think your wife was saying, it was supposed to come out last year. I mean, half the movies were supposed to come out last year, but I like part one and part two seems interesting. I'll go see. I don't know. Maybe I'll go to the movies. I'm still kind of iffy, but I guess things are getting good enough now to try to go someplace indoors without, worrying too much about the COVID stuff. But still thinking about it. But yeah, maybe I will take the wife to go see a movie soon. I haven't done that in a while.
I'm surprised you didn't see it already because I figured since it was supposed to come out last year, you probably saw it already. with your streaming methods that we don't discuss.
They clamped down on a shower.
Yeah, Jeremy's in his room. He's got a bathroom there. So we'll just mute him for a minute.
Gotcha.
You can unmute whenever you want, Jeremy.
It's kind of interesting. I don't know I know a lot of people are talking about Black Widow might be the first movie they go out to go see. I know James Bond is supposed to, or did that already go on streaming? The new Bond?
No Time to Die. It was supposed to come out like last November, after supposed to be coming out last April. And then they pushed it, I think, to May or April this year. And then they pushed it again to November. So I don't think they're going to push it anymore, especially if Amazon completes the purchase of MGM and gets the James Bond rights. I feel like they'll leave it. And who knows, maybe they'll even stream it instead, but I doubt that. The James Bond franchise, if the theaters are even 50% back to what they were, it's too lucrative. So they'll probably leave it in the theaters.
Right. I guess on a broader note, I guess, everything's open. Of course, our state's completely open. And now they already said that, travel, they've got the most travel going on this week and this weekend since, the pandemic hit. So I guess we're back to, full steam ahead, like I said. But anyway, I mean, typically when I went to movies, me and my wife, we try to catch a movie on a Tuesday or a Wednesday afternoon anyway. Like I can't, you won't catch me on a Friday night or opening night on anything anymore. I just, there was too many people before COVID, and now there's just too many people, at half capacity. It's still too many people, after COVID for me. So I mean, I might wait, but yeah, either that or Black Widow will get me back in the movie theaters. So
Black Widow's dropping, I think, day and date with Disney Plus, right? And it's not even that premiere access. Yeah. I'm pretty sure is it premiere? I don't know. I have to
No, it's premiere access. Oh, for
it
sure.
Is? Okay.
Yeah.
Because what you're paying for already isn't enough. You got to pay another fee on top of that, fuckers.
Right.
I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, I don't know that I get it. $30, yeah, and you get to sit home. You don't have to go out. You don't have to spend the money on all the popcorn and everything like that. But if I owned it, I feel like I'd definitely stay home and pay the $30 to own it and watch it right away. But I'm sure it's just like a rental or maybe a one-time thing.
No. So Disney Plus is the one, they do it different. If you do the premiere access, you have it, and it just stays on your Disney Plus as if it was just there normally, right? The other ones were like rental. I know HBO Max, they're so confusing. They're doing the thing where everything's going on HBO Max, but it's only on there for 28 days and it's off, and then it'll come back to HBO Max sometime in the future. Like, I guess they were sending me alerts like, watch Kong versus Godzilla. It's going off. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Like, it's okay. I can wait. There's no rush on that. But Disney, if you pay for the premiere access, you just have access to it, indefinitely until, it gets onto regular Disney Plus in like 5 or 6 months. So,
gotcha. Do you guys know what the movie was? Speaking of HBO Max, what was the movie for May? Was there one? I know the last one was Mortal Kombat that came out the end of April. So I don't know if we're just waiting for another one to drop, or if, I think Mortal Kombat's off by now. But I'm just curious.
Didn't Kong and Godzilla come out at the same time as Mortal Kombat, or a week before?
Kong came out end of March. Then they had 28 days. Then Mortal Kombat came out. So theoretically, another one should be releasing soon. I just don't know what it is. But the only thing I'm watching on HBO right now is Mayor of Easttown and John Oliver. So Oh, I'm trying to watch Gone with the Wind. Oh my God, that's like I'm dragging through this shit. Like I get it. I get it's 82 years old, but come on, man. I feel like I should be able to get through it a little easier than Wizard of Oz. You know, Wizard of Oz is something you blow right through it. It's easy enough, but I don't know.
Yeah, Citizen Kane didn't really hold up for me. So I mean, those old movies are tough to watch sometimes.
Yeah.
Really? See, Citizen
Couldn't
Kane,
enjoy it.
I guess because when I watched Citizen Kane, I guess all the technical stuff that they were doing back at that time period, it fascinates me. So I guess I'm more interested in the cinematography and, you know, the camera work and just how, like, you know, he invented so many tricks. I guess he, at the time, I forget the name of the cinematographer for the movie, but at the time he's one of the best, and they were just coming up with new techniques. And Orson Welles was like, well, we need to get the camera lower. And the guy was like, well, we can't get it lower. So Orson Welles just went and grabbed an axe and started chopping up the floorboard and like, can we get it lower now? And, you know, they were just inventing movie techniques. So, but yeah, I guess the story is a little dated, but I mean, so I enjoy Citizen Kane just looking like, to me, just the cinematography and the look and feel of it. But yeah, Gone with the Wind, nah, I just can't. It's, yeah.
I just feel like I have to because, you know, it's film history, all that kind of shit. It didn't have that warning that I heard was going to be put on it. I was watching it for it and it never showed up. So, like, you know, hey, like, oh, hey, we don't believe in slaves anymore kind of thing, you know, right at the top. Something to that effect. You know, one of those politically correct things like, hey, this was made 80 years ago. It might be different than what we would do today kind of thing. So they don't have to alter it, but they could put that warning to let you know, because that's what I think they'd rather do. And I prefer that as well. I don't want any films to be altered. Right. You know, so I mean, I guess I struggle with anything almost before the 70s. I mean, definitely the 80s and on, I can watch whatever, but I feel like it's a pacing thing. Like pacing was much different, especially early on. You're talking about 30s, 40s, different pacing. But now, you know, 50s, 60s, you got Psycho, you got, you know, even Midnight Cowboy, Wild Bunch is different. I don't know if you guys ever seen that. I'm just going off on a tangent here, but like, I'm just trying to think of these movies that I can think of from back then. I haven't watched a lot of the ones that Tarantino and them were inspired by, like the like blaxploitation or the kung fu and stuff that might be a little faster paced. I did watch what was that Bruce Lee one, Enter the Dragon. I watched that one a few months ago when I was sick or when I had the surgery, and that was interesting. That had pretty fast pace. The plot kind of seemed a little weird to me, but it was fine. It was good. I liked it. It was going to go off Netflix, and I figured I'd give it a shot.
Nobody watching the Bruce Lee movie for the plot. It's the plot is just to surround the kung fu action. You know, it's, you know, we'll figure out that plot thing after we, you know, figure out this choreography for this fight. You know, like, yeah, you say this, I say this, and I kick you.
They still do the same thing with Jackie Chan and Jet Li.
Oh man, hey, hold on. I'm getting a phone. Sorry guys, I got to pause real quick.
He's going to take a phone call, so we're just going to make fun of him while he's on the phone. But does Jet Li still making movies? Like, I can't remember the last time I saw
think he got himself in trouble or something.
Oh, I know. I was reading something, you know, those cracked photo.
That hair's a wig, right?
What?
Sainte's hair is a wig.
Oh. you can't talk shit in front of him. You afraid?
No, it's more fun when he's not here.
I wonder if he can hear us. I don't know. But anyway, so. Jet Li, you know, those cracked, you see the cracked articles I post, I'm sure. You know, those photoplasties, those hints that people get some places that aren't even true sometimes. But apparently he was interviewed for, and he was actually approached to do Matrix Reloaded, the second one. But what was that?
The hell's that?
I don't know. He's on. He's on mute, so it's not him. It must have been a ghost in your house or a ghost in my house. Anyway, Jet Li was approached, and they wanted him to be in Matrix Reloaded, but apparently they wanted to basically not trademark. Somehow they were going to own the moves that he made for the movie, and he was like, "Nah, I'm not letting you do that." And so he left, and some other Asian guy came in. I don't know the Asian actor's name. I'm not familiar with him, but he played the Asian guy in the second one. But it was just something I saw, a little fact I saw recently, speaking of Jet Li. So Jackie Chan, I haven't heard about him in a while. I guess I did read something. He was considered for a villain in a movie where there was oh shit, that's for Usual Saints screen reviews though. He was supposed to be the villain in Demolition Man, but he didn't. He never plays a villain in any movie, so he said no to that. It would have been him instead of Snipes. Yeah,
that wouldn't have been the same movie.
Nah, it'd been interesting.
Hey, real quick, like of course I gotta go help my brother-in-law with something for like 5 minutes. It's something he needed. He was like, "Can you even call this weekend?" I was like, "What time?" He's like, later afternoon." I was like, "All right, probably." And of course he calls as soon as we get on here. So I'm gonna do that run. But hopefully you can get the interview with Tan Mom, and hopefully I could jump back in. Like I'll just silently slide back in, if I'm done with it. But I'm probably gonna have to run for about 15, 20 minutes and about half an hour. So anyway, just to let you guys know. Heads up.
He's going to run for 15, 20 minutes in a half hour. Do that math, yes. Jeremy. What's that mean?
I don't know.
I think it's 45 minutes from now, total.
Something, yeah.
Not tough.
Anyway,
right.
So wait a minute. What was so we're going Bruce Lee, Jet Li, Jackie Chan. What were we doing in Asian film?
No.
We're just down on Asians here, just like the rest of America. We don't want to give them any props or anything. No, since Jeremy brought up Jet Li and Jackie Chan, I had little factoids that were sticking in my brain that I read recently about them, so I brought them up. Jeremy was saying that he likes your wig, but I don't know.
My wig.
Nothing. It was a joke.
He was
like fell flat.
He was trying to be hip like the cool with that cool new lingo. Digging the wig, man. Like, yeah.
I think he was bagging on you because he wanted to call you bald before, but he can't. What do you want him to actually pull on the hair to prove it's real?
No.
I can let it hit the microphone instead. Long shit.
That's what you do when you on a guy that's doing phone sex or something. The whack packers hey, bang it on the phone. Don't. Oh, that's another weird thing. Another factoid I saw about Forrest Gump. Have you guys ever read that book?
No.
Has anyone read the book?
No.
I heard the book has some weird ass shit in it though compared to the movie.
Yes. So apparently there's a part in the book. Again, it's another cracked photoplasty, so I don't know if it's real or not. But apparently when they're Jenny and Forrest about to have sex, Jenny pulls down his underwear and she goes, "Whoa!" So basically inferring that in the book without saying it, he's got a monster dick. So I thought that was pretty funny. It's talking about all this freaky stuff Jenny's teaching him, and I don't doubt that because basically in the movie she was pretty much depicted as a girl who's been around. So did you say whore?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, kind of.
A woman of the night. Let's let's
I say I didn't mean to cut you off before. What were you gonna say, Sainte? You were
I was gonna say about those older movies. I went through a phase. You got me thinking about
it too. It's college.
But older movies like The Maltese Falcon or Casablanca or a lot of the, old black and whites and stuff. It's the thing that kills me is usually the acting. It's like there was a style that they had back then, which is kind of, you see it now and it's, it doesn't really work as well, but I always appreciate those for like I said, the cinematography, the set design. And I get into a lot of those classic films, but I like a lot of the old samurai movies, Kurosawa and those kind of things. But, some of those movies, for me, unfortunately for me, a lot of it's just the content. Like you said, you were saying how, and I agree with you, I'd much rather than put a disclaimer like, hey, this movie may depict, stuff from back in the day that we don't agree with now. But I'd rather them do that than try to edit out some of that stuff because, you lose some context when you try to mess around and quote unquote fix, problematic movies. So I'd rather you just leave it in, say, hey, yeah, we know people were racist back then, people now, but it's whatever. It's art. And yeah, especially, you watch Gone with the Wind, it's like, eyes just rolling. What's her name? Hattie McDaniel. She got an Academy Award for playing Mammy, but it's like, I don't know. You watch that movie again, and I spend half the time just rolling my eyes, like, oh Jesus, like okay, here we go. And I'm rooting for Atlanta to burn. Like, yep, burn it all, burn all of it. But
I'm only halfway through it, and maybe there's more to her performance. But like her performance in the beginning, she barely is in it, Hattie McDaniel, and so I'm wondering what I'm in store for, or if there just wasn't a lot of best supporting actresses that year. But we'll see. I mean, nothing against what she did. It's basically, it seems like a limited screen time. So I don't know. We'll see what the second half turns up. That Atlanta's burning right now, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, those old.
So
movies.
what about your week? You said you had news.
Oh no, nothing big. So have you guys heard of the Hydro?
no.
Okay, so it's like a rowing machine. Howard Stern said that Beth, his wife, uses it, and she's like in really good shape. And I don't really dig like going outside and doing stuff except for like riding a bike. So I'm like, hey, let me try it. It's really expensive, so I have a 30-day trial on it. And so I tried it this morning for the first time since I got it Thursday. First of all, this thing is like huge. It's like 8 feet long. It's a rowing machine, and so it's it's a little bigger than I thought it was going to be. I don't have a huge house, and so I used it this morning. I gotta tell you, like I was really, I don't know, sore afterwards, but it felt good. So I don't know. I'm going to try to keep up with that every day and see, 15 minutes a day. It's hard to keep that 15 minutes of straight exercise going because like I felt like I wanted to take a break every 5 minutes, but I didn't. I went through it. So
you mean like exercising?
I'm not
what exercising is. You want to quit every 5 minutes, but you keep going. So that way you sweat and you lose the weight. Yeah, that's called just exercising, dude.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't do much of that. My body is natural. This is all good. But yeah, so I got that. So I'm seeing how that is. Heather's not a fan of it being in the house where it is, so I'm not sure if I'm going to put it here in the office.
Oh wow, look at this thing's what this thing's huge. Looks space age, man. What is this? I just pulled a picture up.
You can screen.
Surprised you didn't get the Peloton.
Yeah, I know. I went for the Hydro.
So wait, so where'd you get the 30-day free trial? Like their actual website or something?
Yeah.
Oh, and are you intending on keeping this, or is this just I'm going to try this thing out for 30 days and day 28, like, hey, Hydro, come pick up your big, huge rowing thing?
No, I mean, I'm intending on keeping it. Like I've already paid off half of it on the credit card. I'm going to pay the other half off when I get the credit card statement this month. I want to keep it. We'll see how it works. So, I mean, it was like, even with my government employee discount, it was still like $2,300, so it's like dropping
yeah. I didn't want to say, but I was like, 20, I'm looking at the price right now.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah. And plus
is there a membership as well?
Yeah. $38 a month.
Fuck.
Wow.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, so I just want to give it a shot and see if it actually works. If it helps me lose weight, man, I wanna do it because I wanna. My goal is I want to get down to 250, and I know Jeremy. I don't know, you're like a ball, but
wow. I like how you had to outline it, like in case we didn't know, like you're like a ball,
like that blueberry girl in Willy Wonka. Sorry, I forgot her name. R.I.P. Whatever her name was. That was Veruca Salt, wasn't it? Yeah. That was Veruca Salt. Yeah. Y'all could have helped me with the name if you knew it. I forgot it.
No, it was more fun.
I feel like our ADHD, my ADHD is all over the place because I'm just bringing up Willy Wonka news. Did you guys see who's cast as the new Willy Wonka?
They're making a new Willy Wonka?
A prequel.
Yeah, it's kind of like a prequel. What's his name?
Timothy Chalamet. I'm not sure if you pronounce Chalamet or Chalamet. I thought I saw Chalamet somewhere, but it looks Chalamet.
I think it's Chalamet.
Who the hell's is it? Tim Burton doing it, or who else doing it?
Shit, it might be. No, Tim Burton's doing Addams Family on Netflix. I forget who's doing the new Willy Wonka. Sainte's probably looking it up right now. He's doing his producer thing, but he's good. You know who Timothy Chalamet is, Jeremy? Have you seen him in anything?
I can't think of what he does now.
He was in Call Me by Your Name, Lady Bird. He's been in a lot of other things. I'm guessing you haven't seen those.
No.
Yeah.
Call Me by Your.
Yeah, a lot of
indie.
Yeah, indie, teen, not teen, maybe young adult kind of stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, Okay, this is good. I mean, I guess this podcast during the Screen Rants. So, how do we feel about more and more prequels coming? Like, is anyone really? Because I feel like this is where Star Wars kind of went off the rails when they decided to do a Han Solo prequel that nobody really asked for. It's like, is anyone asking for a Willy Wonka prequel? I understand on the business end, it's like we have content, we have this IP, this intellectual property, and we're just going to milk and squeeze and beat every ounce of content we can of any property we have. But is anyone asking for a Willy Wonka prequel? Like, I don't get what the fascination of it is. It's kind of, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not looking for it, but I was never a fan of the books or anything like that. I'm a fan of the first one, not the Tim Burton one. That one's okay, but I'm a big fan of Gene Wilder in the role.
Yeah.
In the original. That's one of my favorite memes that you see is like, oh, Grandpa's so sick. Yeah, he can't get out of Grandpa Joe. He can't get out of bed to get a fucking job. But as soon as that golden ticket shows up, ooh, let me go to the factory with you.
Let me stand up and dance. Motherfucker.
We need to make a segment of that too on movies, because that's like, it's like, you lazy piece of shit. Because I remember watching that and be like, what the? It's like they literally were like dying. It was like, what, the 4 grandparents dying in the bed, and then they get the golden ticket. And he's like, oh, getting the fuck up out of here. Let's, I was like, yeah, get up and help the family a little bit, Grandpa. Yeah, I distinctly remember thinking that when watching that movie. But of course, see, the original was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and then Tim Burton's was Charlie. As the name of the actual book is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And I'm guessing because Gene Wilder was just such a big influence on the first one is why they have. But I mean, I haven't met anybody that liked the remake better than the Willy Wonka version. So
yeah, I don't think you can. I mean, I don't even remember the remake, honestly. Or yeah, it is a remake, a reboot, whatever you want to call it. That's what it is. But
I think it came out the same week as Wedding Crashers, and every one of my employees went to preview Willy Wonka that night. So I went to watch Wedding Crashers. I enjoyed myself a hell of a lot more than they did.
Yes, Wedding Crashers is better. So yeah, that was that. Let's see what else we got before we get Tam Mom on the phone. Let's cover the celebrity deaths, because Jeremy always likes when I bring that up. We just got it today. Just happened today.
No, don't like it when you bring it up, but you bring up death every time. It's not an enjoyable thing for us. You have a fascination.
I want to have like a death expert.
Who did I miss?
Captain Stubing, Gavin McLeod.
Yes.
Love Boat. Love Boat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was also on Mary Tyler Moore. He just died today while I was out shopping. I guess I saw it on TMZ. So, I never really watched Love Boat. I was a little too young. Jeremy, that's more your age range. No.
Yeah, those 4 months between us, you dumbass.
I think
this is where we need Vinny for that older opinion.
Right.
Well, I can't help whatever Vinny's doing. He's helping his dad.
That's right.
So. But yeah, I just think I remember reading good stories about him. I don't think he seemed like a dickhead or anything, like a lot of sometimes celebrities and actors do. I always read like good things about him, whether it was like fans interacting with him or maybe at conventions or whatnot. So,
where the fuck did you read something about Captain Stubing before he died? Like what rabbit hole are you going down to read this shit? I mean, am I wrong? Because
I go down a lot of rabbit holes, man. Shit, I got a Google alert set up for Christine Chubbuck anytime there's news about her. I get like 1 a day or 2 a day about her.
Who the fuck is that?
We talked about her already. Remember, she's the first news anchor who killed herself on TV. Who it was the inspiration of Network. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I don't remember the fucking name. I remember talking about her.
And you have an alert set up for her?
Yeah, because
she's been dead for like 30 something years, right? 40 years.
I have a morbid curiosity to see the video, but it's never going to be released. There's only one copy, but allegedly a month or 2 ago, the audio was leaked, and everyone said if the audio is leaked, then the video is not far behind. But the audio sounds real, like it could be real, like the stories and everything she did, but I don't know until I see the video.
What's this woman's name?
Christine. Last name's Chubbuck, Chubbock. So
Okay.
yeah, she was depressed. She was a virgin. She was like 29, 30, and she said she got on the newscast, was anchoring, and there was a mess up with the tape they were playing, because they were playing from not even beta. It was before beta. It was like quarter inch or half inch or whatever. And so they said, "Oh, just read." And she goes, "Oh, okay, sorry about that." She's like, in the interests of whatever station she was working for, I'm going to show you about blooding, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to show you the attempted suicide or something like that. She took out a gun and bam. And so it aired live, and that was in Sarasota, I think. So it's down here.
Yeah, it says Sarasota.
Yeah, so that happened before really like VCRs were around. So like the only tape for forever, no one thought there was a tape, because the family said all copies needed to be destroyed. But the station owner apparently kept a copy. And so when he died, his widow, knowing that she was going to be bothered about it and asked about it and all that kind of stuff, gave it to a lawyer group. I don't even know which lawyers. And so it's with those lawyers. And I don't know if there's any kind of thing about after she dies, maybe it gets shown, but I don't know. Like, you figure that's like the lost, like, because there's a lost media wiki and everything like that. That's like the holy grail of the lost media, because it's one copy. It's like, it's basically if there was one baseball card. Like, I just read something about a Babe Ruth baseball card in somebody's collection from 1933 it's supposed to be going for the highest price ever for a baseball card. That's what this is. Like, this is the thing you cannot find anywhere. So I don't know. I'm interested to see it. I have a morbid curiosity, like we discussed on the previous show. I think Saint wasn't there yet. I think Vinny was here. I was talking about how I used to go to rotten.com, and I've seen the Bud Dwyer video, the Pennsylvania guy who killed himself in the 80s on TV.
I've seen that one. Was he was getting investigated for something, right? And then he went on TV. I've seen that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it was in Rotten Doc. I think it was some documentary or something, but I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, I guess, in this saying that there is a copy available, but they handed it over to a very large law firm to keep in possession, and they have no plans of making it public.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess putting it.
Why would they even keep it then? I mean, what's why not just destroy it at that point?
Right.
Yeah.
That is a good question. If you're not saving it for anything but fair, I guess I was looking. I guess there were two recent documentaries on it, and you figure if they're going to make a documentary film about it or something like that, that could be useful. But about depression but yeah, if you have no intention of making it public, you might as well just destroy it if that's the case. Wasn't there? The Bud Dwyer one? That's the one you were talking about, because there was another one where they were talking about. And it came on during the afternoon when kids were home. But the thing was about it, like, there was a snowstorm. So there was an unusual amount of kids who were home when this occurred. Back then you had 3-channel TV. So a lot of people saw that live just by happenstance or whatever. But curious.
There was one, I don't have it in front of me. I mean, I know you're looking at the internet, Saint. I'm not sure if it's the Bud Dwyer one, because I was alive, but it was in Pennsylvania, so I didn't see it. It was local news and all that kind of stuff. I thought that's the one where they said that people imagine having seen it live because... Yes. Okay, that is the one. Okay, because it wasn't broadcast live, but everyone was recording, and then the tapes they're all live leak. They're all over the internet. You can easily find that one. I know Jeremy has no interest in saying something like that, but no.
Like we talked about before, though. I think the only live death I've seen, or real death I've seen, probably is the neck bomb guy. I remember seeing that video back in the day where the pizza driver got a. Pizza driver, well, there's some controversy. There's a documentary about it, but there's a controversy about whether he did it to himself or someone had to deliver the pizza and put a bomb on this guy's neck.
Oh, right.
I've had a scavenger hunt he had to do, as well as rob a bank. And they had live video of the news, had video of him, his head blowing off. That's the only one I remember seeing.
Yeah, it's just
I did not watch any of the beheading videos. I couldn't watch those. No, yeah, I just couldn't.
I don't really have any interest in that kind of thing, Although I don't even know if I want to talk about it. I've seen probably the worst thing you can ever see. I don't even know if I should describe it on the podcast because
it's just the Pain Olympic stuff.
Oh no, not that stuff. That stuff's gross to me. I don't like that stuff. No, there's a video that I saw of a Colombian drug cartel basically torturing this guy to death because I went on one of these stupid death wiki pages and it's like, hey, go search for this. And it gave me the basically the keyword to find it because there's music playing in the background. There's two memorable songs playing in the background of this damn video while they're doing this torture. It's really horrible. I just, like I said, I don't know why I don't enjoy it, but I feel like I almost seek it out sometimes. I'm not sure if it's just me thinking it's part of my human experience and seeing how people go through that pain and like what kind of they must have been feeling like and how that's horrible. I don't know why I do it sometimes. It's just weird.
And I can't even watch torture, scenes in movies and TV, and you're searching out real life shit. That's fucked up. There's something wrong with you.
There's gonna be there's gonna be the first 20 minutes of your Mike serial killer movie where he's on the podcast saying, I don't know why, I just have a strange fascination with, and like the two of us, like, and later on after he's done killed me and Jeremy, and the rest of the audience is like, you dumbasses, he told you.
Well, at least we know no one will go and say he was such a nice guy, he was such a quiet. None of that shit's gonna happen with Mike. We all fucking know there's a problem. We just, there's nothing we can do about it until there's some proof.
Hey guys, I got to bounce. Like I said, I'll be back in about 25 minutes. All right,
well, let's take a break.
Let's take a quick break. Yeah. All right. You've been listening to Usual Saints. When we come back, we will have Tan Mom, Patricia Krentcil on the show. And
Maybe.
We'll see. No, we'll call her. Look, I called her. Maybe. She answered right away.
Sure.
So if she doesn't do the Zoom, which I doubt she's going to do, at least we'll have her on the phone. So just like Elephant Boy, where he didn't get on the Zoom, but that's fine. You don't remember that? Like it said, like Fred or whatever it said. I think it said phone the entire time.
You're right. I forgot we couldn't see him. That's all right.
Yeah, that's like
I'm okay with that.
No, but like it would have been good to see him. I like seeing people and like because it makes it more like
it's probably there's probably whatever his name is, not the stupid voice guy.
Oh, Sour Shoes?
Yeah, he's probably fucking with us.
Nah, because I reached out to him through the Cameo and his Twitter and everything. But yeah, I was thinking the same. No, I was thinking the same thing about these two interviews. Like Tan Mom, I'm like, is this really her that I'm texting? And finally, I got a hold of her on the phone. That's definitely her. Right. And then the band we're supposed to interview tomorrow, Billy Cock. I was like, is this a real band or what's going on? And then they punked me today. So anyway. Let's take a quick break. You've been listening to Usual Saints. We'll be right back. Saints will be back a little bit after that. We'll be right back. Go pee-pees.
That's right. Hit the record button. Hit the stop. What were you recording for?
I was hoping I would hear you peeing and I could leave it in the episode, but I didn't hear it.
I know. I figured you were just here recording you with all your friends.
Ha 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 ha. So clever. See, I hear. Do you hear myself? Do you hear me twice?
I got a little echo. Not like I don't hear yourself twice, but I hear an echo.
Yeah, the echo is what I mean. So I'm just trying to figure out, does that show up in the podcast? I don't think so.
Because you're on my headphones, so it's not my mic picking it up. Sainte's muted.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know. I'm hoping it doesn't show in the podcast.
So how long do you want to wait till after 4 to call her, hoping Sainte will be back sooner rather than later?
I just texted her.
Okay.
I'm waiting for her to read it. I said, Patricia, I wasn't sure if you meant you could do Zoom at 4, but here's the link if you can. If not, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
I said I'd call her, so oh no, I'll wait. Let's see. Let's play. Oh, you weren't on last week's episode.
No. I thought you had interviewed her last week because you put it on the Facebook page and everything.
I what? I'm sorry?
There was a Facebook post that you were interviewing her and everything, so I thought it happened.
No, her phone allegedly broke.
Hmm.
Let me know if you hear the echo on this at all. I don't think you do.
You gonna play something? I don't hear anything. I don't hear you even.
I'm on mute. I said sorry. I guess I forgot to share it with you. Here we go. Soon, but we got one of our guest hosts for this week, Vincent. You like Vincent, right? I always call you Vince, but you prefer Vince.
A little bit. I mean, you said it sounds the same as always, though. That's how you always sound on here. I don't know why.
All right. So before we get to, I don't like that. I don't know how to fix that.
I don't know. Buy a shitty mic.
This is supposed to be a good mic.
I was talking about you.
Suppress background noise. Check 1 2 1 2. No, still hear it. Echo cancellation. Check 1 2 1 2. Check.
Still the same. I think it was worse at first, right? You had a really both Vinny and I told you had a
Tan Mom's here.
hot mic. All right.
I don't know.
Ready?
Yeah. You ready?
Sure.
We should block Saint or put him in the waiting room or something. So he's not sitting there.
How will you know when he's back?
It'll tell me, I think. No?
Okay.
It's connecting to audio, Patricia. We're just waiting. There you go.
Hi.
Hi. How are you doing?
Oh my God. That was a chore to get you on.
Well, I'm glad you could join our Zoom because that way you get to see us and know what we look like when we're talking to you.
Okay, no, it's all good. I'm just walking around.
That's
What's
fine.
going on?
Oh, nothing. Like I said, I'm Mike. I'm the one you've been talking to. This is one of my co-hosts, Jeremy.
Hi.
Hi. Oh my God. Hi, sweetheart. How are you doing?
Jeremy, that's you.
I think she's talking to you.
Oh, me. She loves me. I know. We've been talking on the phone, everything.
That's already a given.
I'm all right.
We have our other co-host, Sainte. He will be joining us midway through. So if you see someone pop on, that's Sainte. But we just wanted to see if we could do a quick interview with you, just talk a little bit. I loved listening to you on Stern and Shuley show and everything. So I figured, hey, let's see if we can get Patricia for a guest on this show.
Oh, no, that's awesome. And thank you for inviting me.
Of course. All right. So I'll just introduce us back in a second, and then we'll come back and introduce you, and then we'll go from there. Okay.
Okay, sweetheart.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Usual Saints. I'm Mike D here with Jeremy, and we have our special guest, Patricia Krentcil. Some people know her as Tan Mom. She's been a frequent guest on Howard Stern, Shuley show. She's been, I think you've been on talk shows on TV. I've seen you as well.
Yes.
You're all over the place.
All over.
But I wanted to talk to you a little bit first, and I know you also have some new music. I think you're in the process of putting out, right?
I'm so excited that you brought that up. Yes, I have my own solo song coming up, and it's a romantic song, and it's just me. I might have Adam sing a little bit, but it's my song, just like the whole thing. Free to Be Me was something that just came out of nowhere and just, was blown up really well. I mean, everyone loved it. The other ones, when I was younger, they were just silly songs, doing things. But I just feel like as you get older, you just make a lot more fun, a lot more music, and a lot more fans doing things that you believe in that are truly heartfelt.
Nice. And am I wrong? I thought I heard you mention, is it a cover of All by Myself, or what is it? What are you doing a cover of? Or are you doing a cover? Are you making your own? I'm sorry. The new song. Making
my own.
Oh, what's the title of it? The title sounded familiar. That's why I was confused. Go ahead.
All by Myself. You're right.
Oh, I was right. Okay.
You were right, Marcus.
All right. So and also besides that, when is that coming out?
I have to go to California because Electric Point used to be in New York, but then COVID, he moved out to LA, and then till now, that's where I'm going to go fly. But it took a little time to finish up the writing and so forth. So when's it going to come out? Within less than a month, 2 weeks, like something like that.
So do you do all the writing, or do you have some co-writers on the song?
I did everything myself. And like I said, Adam is always been a good part of my life. And he's going to help me out a little bit with it. But there are two other people that I'm not mentioning yet until it's confirmed that are going to be like, I'm doing, it's a piano song. So it's romantic. Okay. It's something I've never done. It's hard to explain.
It's not Elton John, right? I mean, that's not the big reveal.
No, I couldn't get Elton John on the phone. You probably couldn't see me anyways, but that's regardless. No, I didn't mean that mean. That was mean.
No, it's fine. And just so everyone's aware, for people who might not know, the person Patricia keeps talking about is Adam Barta. He's been, what would you say, a producer, maybe a cohort of yours. He sings on some of the tracks, like backing vocals and things like that. Is that kind of his role in the past few tracks that you've done?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay.
But right. he's really good. He really does make things productive. He makes it feel free. It goes in a smooth rhythm. And then we had producers on Free to Be Me, and things have gotten better. We were just out in Stanford, and did a show, and a lot of people are reaching out to us because like I said earlier, once you get older, more people like you more. You grow up from the. Do you know what I mean? Like, you grow up.
No, I understand.
Mike doesn't get it. People don't like Mike, so he doesn't get that. It's not getting better with age.
Me and Jeremy have been friends for about 20 something years, so he likes to make fun of me a little bit sometimes.
No, I think it's awesome because I know I have tattoos and one says forever young, and you always have to be forever young.
Right.
Right.
I agree. That's something I feel like I'm young no matter my age. I feel like I always act. I don't know if it's immature or
Yes.
That's what you say, Jeremy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, how old are you? How old are you?
I'm 41 now, so
I'm 53.
you're just a few years older than me. 12 years. There you go.
There you
Jeremy.
Good
go.
math. Quick
And
on the math,
no
Mike.
matter what, I don't care. We're still going to go out and have a blast and have a great time. Just because I said getting older does not mean stop having fun. So
Right.
that's not in my contract.
And how are you liking Florida? You're in Tampa now, is that right? In that area?
I'm in Tampa. Yeah, I'm moving to over to West Palm Beach.
Okay. I'm a New York to Florida transplant myself, so I'm from Long Island originally, and I've been here a good
No
while.
way.
Yeah.
What
I'm from
part?
Hempstead.
Wait,
Hempstead.
no. What part?
Hempstead, Nassau County.
Hempstead. Oh
Yeah.
my God. I'm from originally Coast Spring Harbor.
All right. So, I love Long Island, but I'm down here now. My family's down here, so we're hanging out. Do you prefer it down here?
I'm really having a really great life.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I don't think I've had that, some injuries or whatever that's happened to me. I really find that no matter where you live, you have to find fun, health, and happiness, and things go on. But I'm really happy out here right now.
Okay. Are you doing okay health-wise? I know a few years ago you had, I think it was a stroke or something. Are you doing okay nowadays?
I had, it was a hip injury.
Okay.
Yeah, the hip replacement. And then after that, I died and they brought me back to life. It was really boring.
That's one way to describe it, I guess.
No, I'm like hanging out. No. They come into the room and they're like, it's a SWAT team. And they're like, how you doing? I go, I'm not going to say a fresh word, but what do you think? Get me out of here. I'm not chanting. I'm not eating sushi. And I'm not in the mood to deal with these people. But
I'm letting Sainte in right now, so he'll join here in a minute. I want to ask a question because the guys always say that I talk about death too much and things like that. But if you technically died, did you
three times?
Did you see a white light? Did you go to the other side, or was it just pitch black? What happened?
Let me tell you something. When the last one when I was in this isn't like kind of funny. The last time when I was in the hospital, I know you're laughing, and I try to always laugh, but when they brought me back, it took a month to realize where I was back at. And what did I see when it happened? And then I talked to my children, and I'm like, I saw two people. They came in front of my face, and they're like, "You're going to come with me." And it was a trippy. I have nightmares to this day. Every blue moon, you'll get a reflection of something horrific. And it was horrific. And it was a guy and a girl, and they were taking me. But there was another side that was like, you're gonna make it. Like, there wasn't somebody actually talking. My children flew out when I died, almost. And they're looking at me. I'm seeing these bad people. And I just, I'm trying to reach out my arm to my children. And I'm like, save me, and it is a tripped out world. And to this day, I see those two people once in a while. And that is exactly what happened. Totally trippy.
That is trippy. I've never had that experience, so that must be something
I don't want you to have that experience.
No, I don't. I don't want to have it either. So, Patricia, I want to see if you can help us out. Sainte here, he's a Stern fan too, but he's like old school Stern. Sainte, you can introduce yourself if you want. But
hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you, Patricia.
Hi, sweetheart. How are you?
Good.
I wanted to see if you could can you tell Saint, and I don't know about Jeremy, I think Jeremy knows Patricia a little bit from the Stern Show, but can you like tell us how you kind of came to, I don't know, your notoriety or how you came to the national consciousness? Can you kind of tell that for our listeners and for Saint, since I don't know if he knows as much? What happened to get you to the national spotlight?
Well, prior, just, it goes to Howard Stern, but prior to Howard Stern, I've modeled my whole life. I've always had some sort of instinct in the media, and just being me, as I'm a little wild. And then just known a lot of really famous people. And then how did I get to Howard Stern was when they said that, Anna was in a TAM booth, which never happened. I won. It became this, it became that. And that's basically, is that what you're looking for? Like,
yeah, no, there's no right or wrong answer here. I'm not Stern. I'm not going to shut you down or anything. Like, I'm going to talk to you and kind of get, listen, Stern does his thing. That's how he has all those listeners. I like talking to people, getting whatever stories they want to tell. I mean, we get some really interesting things on here sometimes. So
let me just give you a quick note on Anna. Okay.
Yeah.
Anna's the redhead. I have 5. And when she went to school, she got a little bit of a sunburn on her back. That's all. That was it. It turned global.
Right.
Global. I'm in my kitchen. No, overlooks my pool, my patio. I'm making lunch for Ashley and Anna. All my kids are A's. And then all of a sudden the SWAT team shows up. And, you burnt your daughter? The whole thing is the most incredible story. Then I go down to the police station where the teachers never called the doctor, which is right down the block from my house. They just called the police because I have no idea. I can't, to this day, I can't say because. Horrific.
That does sound horrific. That's the second time you mentioned SWAT teams. I don't know how they do it up north, but it sounds like you have a lot of SWAT teams coming into your life sometimes. That's not a great thing.
Well, I have a lot of kids, and they're they're fun as hell. And everyone came to my house because I love people having fun with barbecue. Having kids is having fun.
Yeah, I agree. Right. So, but you're liking the weather down here better than New York, I assume. That's pretty much sunny, except for in Tampa where you are. That is the lightning capital of the world. Do you get enough sun where you are rather than the clouds and the lightning and everything?
Oh, totally. It's absolutely beautiful, sweetie. And you're all welcome to my new home. So you have to come and do that.
Well, Saint is in Tampa. I'm across on the East Coast, just an hour above West Palm. Jeremy, same location as me, basically. He's in Port St. Lucie. So,
he's in Port St. Lucie?
Yeah,
I know that area. That's really pretty too.
Yeah, he's got a nice fancy house. He's a millionaire.
It's not fancy, and I'm not a millionaire. Shut up.
No. I'm coming to your house. I have to see that he said it.
There it is. It's official.
I don't invite Mike to my house. I don't know.
Hi. Oh, you guys are so cute.
What part of Tampa Bay do you live in, Patricia?
Over in the corner.
Okay. No, I'm down south. I'm there. I'm a little south of Brandon, Riverview area, a little bit south of there. So,
would you like to go to rave? Do you like to rave?
I used to back in my younger years. It's been that's a good question. It's been about 15 years since I've been.
Maybe oh my 20. God, I love to rave every once in a blue moon.
Really?
Oh, what are you out of your mind? I mean,
no,
we're not old.
Patricia, Saint was a DJ, and he knows a lot about music. I don't know if he knows your music yet, but Saint was a DJ for a good while since I've known him, pretty much.
Yeah, and I DJ'd at a few raves. It just, I don't know. I'm not.
What is it, duck sauce? Wait a minute. Do you know duck sauce?
Yeah, yes, I know duck sauce. Yeah,
okay.
I've got the records. No, I'm just saying. After a while, it seems like my peer group. I'm not calling anyone old, but I was getting older and older, and the kids at the raves were getting younger and younger. So eventually, It was time for me to, got my 2 kids, and I was like, all right, this scene, I may have aged myself out of this scene, but sounds like you're still going strong with the raves, huh?
And my kids the oldest is almost 30, but now I am like a quiet, really cool mom. Not really, but like, I like to have music. Music is the part of life,
Right.
And wait, did you, duck sauce?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Barbra Streisand.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's kind of like the time when I was really into DJing the rave scene. So about 7, 8 years ago. But then after that, yeah, I don't know. The kids, like I said, nowadays, the kids are much younger, way more colorful outfits. And I'm just like, okay, I may be past my rave prime here. So I kind of like position myself out, but no, it's still, the music's still good.
I say every night, but once in a while it's fun.
Once in a blue moon. Gotcha.
Yeah. Throw on your bikini, put on your cowboy hat, and rave. But that's only once in a while. Otherwise, it's all normal and copacetic. Like going to nice restaurants and going to the beach and picnicking and stuff like that too.
Jeremy and I think are too white and nerdy. I've never been to a rave, but I know that was same scene for a minute. But yeah, it was a while ago.
Closest I got was a basement in college with some glow sticks. That was it.
No, but listen, guys, I'm talking about like my kids' rave. So I'm like a really cool mom. They don't do drugs and all that crap. Excuse my mouth. They
you're
like
fine. You're fine.
The what?
I said,
you're fine. We curse on the show all the time. You don't have to worry about your language. But did you just film? I remember hearing on the Stern Show. Did you just finish a new music video too, or was that a while ago? Or are you working on that right now for Glossy?
Glossy's done. Glossy's out. Glossy's coming out. And then my song, and it's going to be really beautiful because you guys are going to love it. I really think you will. Good. Well, you don't have to, but I think you will.
I don't know. I'm all for. When is this coming out?
Like I said earlier, just probably about 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, she put out a song with. Do you know Adam Barta, Sainte? I'm not sure if you know him at all. He was he's a producer. He's a singer as well, actor. But he put out some earlier stuff with Tan Mom, Patricia. Sorry, I don't know how to think Tan Mom's a slur or anything. I don't think it is.
No worries. I love you. No worries.
So he put out a few singles with her a few years ago. "Free to Be Me," I think, is arguably her biggest song. It was her first one. I'm a fan of it. Some of it's nonsensical, but I feel like she was almost scatting. Like, in a way, she was kind of like saying something and then going in somewhere else. But I like it. It's a good jam, to listen to in the car sometimes. But yeah, that's kind of what Patricia's doing. But I wanted to check in on her since she moved down here. Like I said, I've heard you on a few different shows, but I wanted to check in. I wanted to introduce ourselves. You've got my number. If you call when we're doing a show, I'm going to put you on just like Shuli does.
Okay. Oh my God. I was supposed to be in Naples in Friday, and
oh yeah,
totally from the trip from Connecticut, what have you. That was a nightmare.
Did you see him when he came down here? Or you said you were supposed to be when he was in Naples?
I was supposed to be.
Okay. Are you in touch with anyone? Because you were always kind of, I think, a peripheral. If you consider yourself a whack packer, do you keep in touch with anyone from the Stern Show, like besides like Shuli and them, or were you ever close with like Wendy or Bobo or anyone from New York or anything like that?
No, I am not a whack pecker. I am Patricia Marie, and I do what I want. I'm friends with Sal, Howard, and I don't. No, I don't get involved with them. Oh, what's the girl from Brooklyn?
Oh, Marianne.
Marianne, she's very nice.
Oh, she's a sweetheart.
Yeah. A couple other people, but no, we don't like hang out and stuff like that. Marianne, I love. Of course, Howard. And
I get Christmas cards every year from Marianne. It's great. I have them on my fridge.
Me too. I have it on my fridge right now.
Yeah.
And she's a wonderful lady.
So I want to ask about that. So the whole Sal and you relationship, obviously there's,
Oh boy.
how did that start? Is it because he met you when you came to the show? And I mean, you guys always seem really close, and maybe there was some kind of chemistry there for a while. I don't know, but
you know what? Sal is like, he's like a big brother in a way, I would say. He took care of me. And no, we're totally attracted to each other, but he's married and I don't go down that road. I'm not going to break up a marriage and stuff like that. I was literally lived at the Stern Show doing all the Christmas music, everything with Sal, everything. And he sat on my lap or vice versa. He came out and he said, yeah, you wanted to pee on me. That was real enchanting. And that whole thing was ridiculous when he said that. Then I got a little mad at him. But nothing has ever happened. He's just, we're just cute together in a way. How do you explain it? You know what I mean?
No, I agree. Like you said, he's always there to look out for you. I'd say that's probably a good way to look for it. Because even at the 60th birthday, I remember seeing the photos of you walking the red carpet, and he helped you out at the ceremony.
No. Let's cut to the chase on that one. I want to get that really clear because nobody gets it. Okay, I was running late. I grabbed the wrong shoes. Who in the right mind but me would take off their shoes on the red carpet? So I did. And I don't care what anyone thinks. I'll do what I want. So instead of falling down, I took them off. And then everyone's like, I got everybody looking at me, at Seinfeld, and they're all laughing their asses off. And so it's one of a kind, I am a little bit of one of a kind.
I would definitely agree with that. You are one of a kind. You are unique to yourself because your personality it's out there, but at the same time, it's just fun to talk to you. I guess you're opinionated. You know what you're saying. And just hearing like the things, even your music, like even if it's not everyone's cup of tea. Like I said, you put out different things. Like you said, this next one's going to be a piano song. So we'll see how that one turns out when I'm able to hear it in a few weeks.
Okay, you'll be the first I call.
All right. Sounds good. We'll definitely have you back on for that. Go ahead, Jeremy.
I have a question. Why did you move to Florida? Mike's been trying for like 15 years to move back to New York because Florida sucks and New York's the best place ever. So I'm just wondering why you would move here from there.
Well, after my second husband's parents passed away, long story. I just thought that I can't answer that question.
Okay.
And it was time to move, and I did Chicago.
Right.
I've done New York, and then I thought Florida because I can answer that into a little bit of a degree. Is that my daddy always went to Key West when he was working, and we always were flying to Florida. So I knew Florida. Then my son actually moved out here. And then a little bit after that, then after they passed away, then I was just like, let's get out of here. Because, why? Because too, that no matter where I go, somebody has something to say. So that started getting annoying.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, you don't know me, so you need to be quiet really quick when you come in front of my face.
Jeremy, the invite to your house still standing? Patricia, is the driver still living with you?
What's that?
Is the driver still living with you?
Comes back and forth, not with me though.
Oh, he doesn't live with you. Okay. Because I noticed before when you were talking about Sal, you mentioned he was married, but you didn't mention you were married. That as a hold up for you two.
That's a whole different story though.
All right.
Oh my God. Wait till my book comes out. Then you'll be reading the novel of your life.
Are you working on one right now?
A little bit, yes, with a girl.
Okay. And I wanted to make sure we touched on one more thing. You know, you got the music coming out in the next few weeks, but you also have a lotion or something, some kind of product line you're putting out.
Oh, yeah. Patricia's Secret.
And why is it called Patricia's Secret?
Because I'm a bitch.
That's a good answer.
And that works. I can see that in the campaign. There you go.
You know Victoria's Secret?
Yeah.
Well, it's Patricia's Secret now. So take off all your clothes, rub the lotion all over you. Yummy, yummy. Yeah. And then you just get really tan without being orange or anything. It's all clear. And that's the best lotion to have. Mine.
So you're not recommending it for Trump because he likes to be orange.
No, I talked to Trump once and I said, it's just enough. It's like you can't be tanner than me. So.
That's awesome. All right. Well, Patricia, I want to thank you for coming on today. I'm glad we finally connected. We've been trying, I know, for a little bit now.
Yes.
But you are welcome on the show anytime. You've got my number. If you call in,
you got a great show. You really do.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We have a fourth member too, but he's unfortunately he's dealing with some issues right now. His name's Vinny. So, but hopefully one day when he comes back, you can meet him too. He's a funny guy.
That would be awesome. Really. Thank you so much for having me on though. I really had a great time.
Thank you for being on. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Thanks guys. I love you all. Enjoy your house.
Thank you.
Love you too.
You.
We'll all enjoy your house soon.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So that was Patricia Krentcil, Tan Mom, on the show. Let's take what are you looking at, Jeremy?
She's still showing up on my screen.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if she actually closed it out.
I mean, I could kick her if I need to. But remember, that's what happened with George that one time. Remember when George?
True.
Saint wasn't here. George was having problems getting off. He was staying in, and then he popped back on. I think we used that in the podcast, so that was great. But here we go. Let's see. All right. So let's take a quick break, and we'll come back, discuss the interview, and probably wrap up the show. You've been listening to... Sorry, I'm looking at the meme. Jeremy put it in the chat.
If I could figure out how to share it here quicker, I would have.
You've been listening to the Usual Saints. We'll be right back. Recording in progress. You guys,
where the fuck did that come from?
You guys won't know when I'm recording you, or you will know now. So don't do anything inappropriate.
I'm sure there was a lawsuit. That had to come from a lawsuit. I mean, seriously, it had to. Somebody, I was being recorded and I didn't know. Zoom didn't tell me. I couldn't see the button in the top left corner.
All right. Well, welcome back to the Usual Saints. I'm Mike D here with Jeremy, and Saint's back. He came back in the middle of the Tan Mom interview. What'd you guys think of Tan Mom's first appearance? She seems happy to come back anytime we ask her.
Sure. She was fun.
Yeah, it sounded like a delightful interview. It's like, usually you meet these whack packers or or you don't meet them, but you hear them or you see them on TV and you have this impression. But she seemed like a really nice, fun lady. She was, down to be on the show. Just happy to answer any questions. Love to have her back.
Yeah. I would love to talk to one of her kids and just be like, "How is it? How is it?" I mean, just saying. Just that would be fun.
I'd be burning bridges, Jeremy. Jeremy's trying to burn bridges. He's like, let's talk to her kid.
I'm not. I would just like to know what that life was like. I'm just saying. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with her. Just different.
I can see how they could be interesting. Just have if they're down to do it, and just talk about not trying to I guess there's a fine line between trying to have fun with someone who's obviously a little out there and making fun of someone, but she seems like she has a real good attitude and spirit about it. Yeah, it'd be interesting to ask for the kids.
Well, like she said, she wanted out of New York because everyone had an opinion about her. I'm assuming that kind of rubs off to the kids. That would be hell. I mean, obviously, talking to Howard Stern would be awesome. I would find it out, what his kids' lives and what do they think. To me, would be just as fucking interesting to me.
Yeah,
yeah, he's done a pretty decent job of never exposing them to the public eye, though. I mean, I barely know their names. I know one's named Ashley. I forget the other ones, but I've never seen them. He never puts any pictures up of them there. He talks about them very minimally. I didn't know one of them was married until like a few years after the fact because he never talks about it on the show. So ever since his divorce, he keeps it quiet.
All his kids, they have to be like in their 20s and 30s now, right? They're all like grown.
I think they're all in their 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of them's, yeah, they're all, I think you're right, Jeremy, because I'm 41. I think they were all born right after me, and the youngest one was born in the 90s. So yeah, 93, 94. I don't know. All right. But I mean,
if we ask one of their kids, like, what's like the biggest misconceptions people have about their mom, that'd be interesting. Cause I'm sure, having their mom who's tan mom, people think that, our mom's just some ditzy, whatever, but I'm pretty sure they could give some more insight. Like, really, I'm sure behind the scenes, she seems like a kind, warm, just because people are a little out there eccentric doesn't mean, they're not like a nice person. It would be cool. But then again, maybe she just keeps her kids separate from it. Who knows? But
that's the whole thing.
Coming to the house,
I mean, at least the one kid was involved in, CPS or whatever you want to call it in New York investigation. I mean, it's,
right.
That's some serious shit. That's not, just be a different childhood growing up. I don't know.
Well, since Sainte lives down the road from her, I think we need to start a little group text thread with the four of us, and that way she can message the group.
We'll see, I guess.
I mean, she could be in the room with you for the next podcast.
Oh, that would be great. That would be so great. He'd be the new Sal.
yeah, okay.
That was funny. All right.
Have her go up to Atlanta and be Vinny's +1 for the spouse episode. There we go.
Wait, what happened with Vinny's girlfriend?
I don't know. It would just be fun to have him and her be in the same room. The facial expressions alone.
I'd invite her over here, but it's a little bit far of a drive.
Yeah, that's it. That's your excuse. It's right across Route 60. Actually, it's not. Right across Route 60.
I mean, when she moves to West Palm, she was talking about West Palm.
Okay, yeah.
See, you're closer. I'm further away then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. I think we covered a good amount of stuff. We got an hour show. We don't need to go too long. Do you guys have anything relevant? I think we just need to kill all the stuff on the list at this point. It's too much old shit. I don't know that there was anything that we absolutely needed to talk about. I did love, because I thought we were going to interview Billy Cock this week, but I guess that'll be next week's show. I did want to talk about that punk concert. I think it's on the West Coast that I read about today that said they were going to charge people $18 to get in if they're fully vaccinated and $1,000 for those that aren't vaccinated. And they haven't had any takers on the $1,000 tickets yet. But that's because of DuhSantis's order that businesses can't discriminate against people who haven't been vaccinated. So they're not discriminating. They're just charging them the more. And I think I got a kick out of that. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
It's I don't know. I guess there has to be some legal ramifications from it, because I understand DuhSantis, and again, we don't try not to be a political podcast or whatnot, but in other circumstances, haven't businesses been allowed to be like, hey, if you're going on a cruise or if you're doing something before, I'm pretty sure they've been allowed to say, like, you need, not COVID vaccinations, but other type of vaccinations, whether it's, malaria or any of that kind of things, or other countries have had requirements for vaccinations or things of that nature. And I'm just wondering, is it just now because of COVID that they're making a big deal about this? Because I'm pretty sure it may be different with concerts, but I'm pretty sure private businesses have had the ability before to deny service based on whatever criteria they seem fit. I guess I'm specifically going with the cruise ship analogy, but I don't know about concerts and stuff. For example, comedy shows where they say, hey, you come to this comedy show, you have to lock up your cell phone. Or if you pull out your cell phone, you're going to get kicked out. I mean, isn't that the same kind of, scrutiny? Like, hey, if we sell you the ticket, we can make the rules kind of deal. It's kind of a gray area. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Well, the whole thing is now you're asking for somebody's medical information to buy a ticket to something. Seems, this goes back to the whole thing. I wasn't on here. I don't know if you guys already talked about it, but public. So you don't have to wear a mask if you're not vaccinated. How you gonna know who's vaccinated? Right. And you're gonna wear a little stuff. You're gonna wear a little pin on your shirt if you're vaccinated, or how do you know the difference? I mean, I don't know your status. Well, I know Mike because he's talked about it. I don't know your status. You could tell me you're vaccinated or you're not. I can't prove either one way or the other. I don't have access to your medical records. So it's kind of a non-starter for me. I mean, people can just lie about their status. I mean, if you're asking me to produce medical records for you to be able to go to your concert, I'm probably not going to come. That's not something I'm going to give you, but that's just me. But I was more concerned about, just walking into Publix. You don't have to wear a mask if you're not if you're vaccinated. Well, I'm not. I am. But the guy next to me who says he is he really? How do I know?
Right.
That's
I guess
problem.
It's kind of, I don't know, kind of an honor sister kind of thing, which is, whatever. But
well,
I'm just specifically saying how, you've had state governments saying that, they're going to pass anti-vaccination passport laws and things like that. And I'm like, for the longest time, I've always felt like businesses have had the right to say this way or another. I totally agree with the public with something where you just walk in, like, a Publix or a restaurant or a bar or something like that. It's kind of like, how do you know who's coming in and who's leaving? But, like I said before, there have been concert venues, there have been, cruise ships. I know who have specific guidelines of, what you need or what documents you need to provide in order to show, hey, you can come do it. And if not, then you just don't show up. I don't know. It's kind of a gray area. And of course, sometimes I just chalk it up to once in a lifetime event, once in 100-year event. Everyone's trying to just wing it. So it's like, whatever, no one's going to buy your $1,000 non-vaccinated, So it's kind of just all performative, but it is interesting when it comes down to the law.
Let's get to the bottom of it. They're just trying to get publicity for their concert by doing it because they know they can't do anything about it. Anybody who wants to buy a ticket is going to buy a ticket and say they're vaccinated if they really want to go to the show. It's all about publicity.
I mean, I don't see the problem with asking if someone's vaccinated. They're not violating HIPAA. That's only happens with doctors and medical professionals that can violate HIPAA. I mean, I could violate HIPAA. It was a violation.
You can ask, but I don't see any requirement for them to tell you.
So what's the requirement to sell the ticket then? Yeah, exactly.
You don't.
Yeah,
you don't.
And that's the whole thing. So like with DuhSantis, another thing he's trying to do or did, he passed the bill where they're going to fine big tech companies who are against one candidate by removing, their hate speech from their platforms. They can't do that. And big tech's already ganging up and about to come back at them because there's nothing they can do to fine them for doing such a thing, for taking Trump off Twitter or anything like that.
Again,
DuhSantis
everything's performative. It's all it's both sides being performative, but again, trying not to be a huge political podcast. I was just wondering legally. It's like, I guess I was thinking more about cruise ships because I know for a cruise ship that to me I can't see how you can tell a cruise ship company they can't ask for people's vaccination. That's actually a health. That's, something that they need to either you produce this document saying that you've been vaccinated or you don't get on a cruise ship. And I can't see how any government, forget Florida or anybody can say, yeah, no, you have to let someone on. It's like, well, if you wanted people tested for, any kinds of other, I think we'd agree with it. But, COVID's turned everyone into this weird, we have to, you have to be on this side or that side, where it's come more like, if Carnival Cruise Lines or whatever says, hey, only vaccinated people are allowed on, I can't see how you can tell that company no. So,
well, the problem for me is, does it stop at vaccines? What if it's just, you have to prove you don't have HIV to come on our ship? Because we don't want the risk of someone else getting it if you get cut. I mean, where does the line of starting to do that based on health information stop? Oh, you've had an STD. You can't be on our ship because we don't want to risk somebody else getting an STD. I mean, where is the line?
But COVID's a communicable disease through the air,
right,
through droplets. HIV is through blood. You'd have to. That's why whenever and from being in the same employ as me years ago, anytime anyone cut themselves, you'd have to put on your gloves and make sure you took care of yourselves. You couldn't.
I understand.
Yeah,
I understand the difference, but where is the line though? I mean, who is that the line? Who makes the decision that it has to be communicable by air for us to be able to to make that decision? Or is it, by bodily fluids or by saliva or I mean, where's the line and who makes that line? And that's the slippery slope you can go down when you start allowing this type of stuff.
I think it's a private business that makes that rule. So, I mean, if they want to make that rule that one cruise line or all cruise lines, if we're talking specifically about cruise lines, it's the same thing as, hey, no shirt, no shoes, no service, no mask too, for these stores. We talked about Costco last week on the show. It's just some crazy bullshit going on in the world nowadays. And, I don't want you guys to feel like we can't talk about politics on this show just because my wife says it's a little boring. I like that Jeremy's here. I liked when Vince was here last week because they're the conservative voices. And so we can chat about shit and we can have conversations.
Speaking of COVID,
go ahead.
I did have one other COVID topic today, which somebody at work brought up to me. But so I was a little surprised this week that the media was championing Biden for telling the intelligence community to look into whether this virus is man-made after Facebook and everyone was taking off any posts months ago that said or implied that it was man-made and not naturally occurring, or that it was from China. All of a sudden the media is saying, oh, what a great job Biden's doing by having this investigated, when they, ripped into people for saying it before. I don't, it seems a little weird.
Well, I don't think he's called it the Wuhan flu and Kung flu and all that kind of stuff. So
if you posted that, Facebook had to reverse themselves, because if you posted you thought it was man-made and originated in China, they would remove your post.
Here's the distinction I'd make. And again, I hate when these conversations come up because then I end up having to defend companies like Facebook, who I fucking think are trash. But, actually not a defense of them. I think some of these companies, a lot of these companies would benefit from a board of common sense where they have a group of people sit around and discuss, hey, what's common sense? What's our policy? And then once we make that policy, here's why we've made a determination for that policy. I think originally what they're trying to avoid was, and how Mike was alluding to, some of these it was man-made in a lab, wasn't relying on any evidence, any scientific basis. And a lot of it was just racist rhetoric to be like, oh, it was the Chinese, it's the China virus, this is and that. Those saying a broken clock is right twice a day, right? You can be right that perhaps this was made in a lab, but just saying because it was the Chinese from China, we should blame China, as opposed to, and I think, again, why the media does things and why we get wrapped up, who gets credit, who doesn't. It's, well, Biden's going to take a serious, we're not going to, call it the Kung flu. We're going to take a serious investigation.
I like that one. I wanted Kung flu to make it. That to me was better than COVID-19. Made it more fun, but whatever.
Well, here's the thing. Kung flu was actually funny. It's a funny pun.
There you go.
It actually works because it's a funny pun and it's absurd. Calling it the China virus, it's like, and actually calling it the Wuhan flu, I didn't have a problem with if anyone called it, the Wuhan virus, actually the Wuhan virus, if you wanted to call it, because historically that's how you call viruses, is from where they originate from, West Nile virus, which is
Spanish flu.
Spanish flu, even though that originated in Kansas and had nothing to do with Spanish. That was a little murky, right?
That's what they called it.
Right. But it's what they call it, right? But by even the scientific community would often name a virus instead of, COVID-19 or SARS, 29.666, they would, name it from where it comes from. So Wuhan virus, no problem. The Wuhan flu, now you're getting a little murky, which I didn't have a problem with either. The Kung flu, if that's just a joke, that's perfectly fine. But when we started calling it the China virus, then it's like, okay, so what are you trying to infer here? There's no, and again, you cannot separate who is perpetrating this, and because it comes from someone who, is not relying on this. Basically, it's like, as president, we should be like, hey, let's be scientific, or let's use the scientific method or some, reasonable way to discuss this virus instead of just being like, oh, it's, China. That's really where it comes from. Now, I'm not giving Biden too much credit, and maybe, some in the media, are overblowing it, but it's basically just saying like, hey, we're going to investigate this, and we're going to do a proper investigation, and we're not here to blame anybody, but we're just going to do an investigation. And that's what should have been from the get-go. We need to take away all who we blaming for this, who we blame for that. It could turn out there's a very good possible chance from last January when I was on the fishing boat, and this is how I know this should have been thought out more. Me and my the chief engineer on the fishing boat, buddy of mine, Corey, we were telling the guys on the boat, hey, this thing is way more serious than it's letting on. This was in January, way before March. And because we're kind of isolated on the boat, but all the information we were getting was from international media. And when you've seen things coming out, it's like, oh, China's not saying it's a big deal, and we only have this many cases. But my friend Corey, he's real big in the scientific method and, Neil deGrasse Tyson, astrology, physics, all that. But he was like, look, if they're saying this many people that cases they have, well, then exponentially, this is how many people actually have it. And if that many people have it, how far is this spread? And this is the part that, gets into the Chinese thing. Everyone knows China lies. This isn't I don't think this is a controversial thing to say that their government isn't the most honest government. They were literally building 7,000 bed hospitals when telling us that only a couple hundred people had the virus. So obviously things are way out of control before they were letting it known. That even with that, there should never be an assumption, because I think people are automatically making the assumption that China was doing something nefarious or onto that causes spread. It's possible. It's even possible that this virus, they knew it was there. It was getting out of control, and they were just keeping tight lid on it. Like, they didn't know what was going on, and they didn't want to be embarrassed, or they could have been weaponizing it.
Avoiding embarrassment when you know how quickly this can spread is nefarious. That is not taking care of, that's not doing everything you can to avoid the spread because you're embarrassed. There's some fault there. That's not innocent guys who, we screwed up. No, that's making a decision to hide stuff from the rest of the world that they could have used that information.
No. I'm loving this, by the way.
But the Chinese they're a communist basically a communist dictatorship. It's like we know what we're dealing with here. This isn't an open government. So when we're saying like, hey, this communist country is hiding things, it's kind of par for the course. Now, what I'm more concerned about is if it was in a lab, it wasn't like, oh shit, we have a health crisis and we don't want the rest of the world to know, or we have this virus, let's tinker around with it. Is there any use for us with it? And then it got out of control. There is a difference. There's a difference between like, oh shit, people are dying. We don't want the world to know that we're fucking up over here, because let's just say, for example, and this was our hypothetical, if the virus had just stayed mostly in China or in Asia and had spread, but hadn't spread across the world, and it went apeshit crazy in China, from the Chinese perspective, to them, it would have been an embarrassment, and it would completely destroy their economy. I'm thinking as if like a communist Chinese government would think, because I don't even think they would have thought that this would have spread worldwide as it did. But let's just say it spread all over China, and China had to shut down their factories, basically everything that happened all over the world anyway. But if it happened, you would know a communist government like them would want to keep the lid on it. But instead what happened, that's why I'm more of, and what I've read, and of course, I'm not trying to say I'm an expert, or for all the things I've read, someone said most likely is the Chinese knew about this probably November, December, that this was forming, and they were trying to get ahead of it without it getting out. And eventually, a virus is a virus. You can't control it, but maybe they were trying to see, the early stages of the vaccine, something. The idea that they would take something out of the wild and try to weaponize it that quickly, so some have suggested it, but I've also read some other people that it's not that likely. What's more likely is they knew about it. It was getting out of control. They were trying to keep a lid on it, and they couldn't control it, which is still not great. That's, and you should say, hey, China, what the hell's going on? But this idea, but again, I hate going back to Trump, but you cannot say that Trump was just putting out factual scientific information, even if he could have been right. Even if he could have been right in chastising China, there's a way to do it. And there's a way, it's the China virus. And, we're going to blame there's a way of doing these things. Not to mention, diplomacy and what do you do how do we punish China? There was a point where we couldn't get any imports in of masks, gloves, and anything because they're all made in China now. So it's like, what's your goal in that scenario? Go ahead, Jeremy. I didn't mean to keep talking, but
no, that's all right. See, some of the Trump stuff makes me wonder. There's evidence that a bunch of senators got some information about how bad this was going to be and sold off a shit ton of stocks on both sides of the aisle.
Yep.
It's, it makes me wonder,
Republicans and Democrats. There were some Democrats too. Yeah,
I said both sides of the aisle.
Yeah. That's what I mean. But I'm saying not just Republicans, because some people say, I was like, I got some Democrats too, but go ahead.
No. A whole bunch of them decided to, get ahead of it. But makes me wonder if they knew a couple days ahead of time to be able to sell their shit off. Did Trump actually have some reports that, hey, yeah, we think this was made in the lab, and the intelligence community just wasn't ready to put that out there at the time? Because Trump was sitting, hey, we're going to have a virus any day now. And people were laughing at him. And a week after the election, hey, look, we're going to have a vaccine. A week after the election, they'd say, hey, yeah, our vaccine's ready. But people were saying Trump, didn't know what he was talking about coming up to the election. Makes me wonder if there's information that he had that, people were telling him, hey, you're an idiot. But no, actually, this shit's out there. It's just not common knowledge. It's, it's in his reports every day. That's why he's, so confident in what he's saying, and people were just discounting it.
I would argue that I have no doubt that, the presidential daily briefing, military intelligence, CIA, I'm pretty sure they probably gave Trump all the scenarios of what possible. I'm pretty sure they said, hey, this could have been a bat, or this could have been China, or from what we know of the lab in Wuhan and what they do there, and probably the chatter that they've heard from us spying on the Chinese, what their best take on it is. And I would say, even if you have all that information, I guess it just goes to when you're the president of the United States, you have to have a reasonable. Basically what Biden just did, this is what Trump should have said. Even if he suspected the Chinese, he should have said, you know what? We're going to have an investigation to see if this was created in the lab. That's all you got to say. And I'm sure there are going to be some on the left who are going to attack him no matter what he said. But if you just said, you know what? I'm going to put my people on it, and we're going to investigate to see was it in the wild or was it something else? And that's it. You notice Biden hasn't really said anything. He basically said, I'm going to have an investigation to see where it's come out. And as president of the United States, that really should be, the stance that you take until you're reasonably sure of what you had. I mean, we can go all the way back to, the first Iraq War when it comes to, free intelligence and have you actually done your due diligence and that kind of stuff. So just putting information out that is not properly vetted, I think for any president, Biden, Trump, George W., whoever is, a position that you should be very careful with. That's all I'm saying. And like I said, the people who were saying that it could have been in a lab, we shouldn't discount that. I don't know why. I guess, Jeremy, what you're saying is there's some people on the left who are, very critical, or like a tech company like Facebook getting on people saying, hey, if it was man-made. And that's Facebook. What Facebook should, their policy should be like, hey, if you're spreading unsubstantiated reports, and it takes more due diligence from Facebook to do that. I think these tech companies, they paint with a broad brush because it's easy for them, because it costs them less money to actually do due diligence. Like, hey, there's a difference between spreading a fact-based, hypothesis than just spreading bullshit. And that's, the slippery line that Facebook faces.
So just a quick internet search. It looks like April 30th, of last year, of 2020, Trump had put out that there was evidence that it was from a lab, and the media pretty much ripped them apart for it. And then this year, apparently when Biden took over, shut down a State Department inquiry into whether this was from the lab in China until, a couple days ago, when all of a sudden they decided they were going to look into it again. So for the past, 3 months, they shut it down. There was an investigation under Trump, but when Biden took over, they shut it down. I don't want to say he's on China's payroll, but his son is. But I mean, I don't, that's how it works. Oh, don't roll your eyes. The motherfucker's getting paid.
To be
the
fair,
motherfucker's getting paid, and you know it.
Jeremy's internet search was using Bing, and you see how poor his internet is. So I don't know where he's getting this information exactly.
CNN. Look at that.
Wow.
CNN right off of Google. I know
Anyway.
you believe everything. I know you believe everything CNN and MSNBC say. So
I love the conversation.
No grain of salt.
I just sat back and was doing whatever. By the way, you fucking with me. You guys couldn't hear my phone. It was on silent, and you couldn't hear shit, right? All right.
somebody's phone went off. I assumed it was yours.
No, my mic was muted too. That's why I'm looking at my fucking connections on the computer. Anyway.
Actually, that might have been mine. I don't know. That might have been mine.
Speaking of China,
You were looking down at your phone, so
I know. Speaking of China, what do you guys think about the whole John Cena thing this week when he accidentally called Taiwan a country in an interview, and he had to fucking walk that shit back like immediately because of China's film market and for Fast 9, and they were all freaked out. Like Universal said, yo, you get in front. I think he spoke Mandarin. I think they had to speak Mandarin or whatever to get the message across. I mean, is it that crazy? I mean, I get there's money over there, but that's insane, dude. I don't know.
I don't know if you noticed, there's a lot of internet companies that have a huge issue with China and censorship, because a lot of games companies have lost a lot of money because China's like, no, you're going to talk shit about us. We're not letting you sell your games in our country anymore. I know Reddit has a good percentage of it owned by China, and there's a few other internet companies where censorship becomes an issue because that's what they do. The Hong Kong stuff was Hong Kong protests were a big deal because a lot of them were kind of shutting down those posts because China doesn't play around with the shit they own. Hey, we'll pull our money.
It's once you become multinational, once you saturated the American market and you decide, okay, we need to be a global company, whether it's film companies, whether it's the NBA, sports leagues or whatever. If you get into that China market, your company basically has to make a decision. And it's like, if at any point you say anything that, they'll let some things go, but on certain things, they're just like, no. And if you don't play ball with them, they'll shut the NBA out. They'll not let your movie be released. And if your bottom line depends on, hey, we need to go to China and make $300-400 million, you say the wrong thing. You're going to have John Cena go out there and, hey, no, Taiwan is, independent state or whatever the hell they call it. Go ahead, Jeremy.
So we're going to find out in a couple days here whether Anchor and Zoom are owned by China if our shit keeps working or not.
It's funny. But yeah, no, I mean, I just wanted to touch on that. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's so much shit going on in the world. I mean, we haven't even talked about the Palestine and Israel thing. That's its own little thing. I know there's a ceasefire or whatever now. I think there is, but I from the media, talking about media, let's talk about media for a second. My whole life, I've been presented that like Yasser Arafat and the Palestinians are like bad people, but like, and Israel's like, they're the good guys. But like, I'm looking at all this shit and I'm learning. It's like, I'm almost learning for the first time. I'm seeing it from both sides. And it's like, you got these Palestinian kids dying. The way I didn't know the way the country was so split up. It's so fucked up. They got these little pieces all between Israel and the PLO, just all over the place. Like they're not like big blocks of countries, like squares or cut out shapes. And so it's all fucked up. And like, and yeah, you can't, it feels like people are afraid to take a stand one way or the other, but the progressive left have definitely been, more, not anti-Israel, but more like, hey, we can't keep giving Israel billions and billions of dollars for the defense spending when they're using it to kill kids and just basically blow up buildings in Palestine. It's just kind of crazy to me. I feel like my eyes are opened a little bit, but I don't know. Go ahead.
On the same side, you can't just sit there and ignore the fact that Palestine's shooting rockets into Israel indiscriminately. And if their defense wasn't there, how many kids or people would be dying from those?
No, I mean, I do get that, but you see that what is it, the fourth largest military in the world going against Palestine with these little areas, the Gaza Strip and these little areas. I mean, sure, you got to be more targeted than to blow up buildings where the AP is. You got to be more targeted than to blow up buildings where 12 kids die, At
the same time, they could just wipe them off like you said, it's the fourth largest military in the world. Why have they not just steamrolled them? They are holding back. But if just like during World War II, if you put the air-to-aircraft gun on top of the hospital, you can't be surprised when the hospital gets blown up, So what the building those kids were in, was that being used as something else as well? Did they take that into consideration? It's not all black and white.
I'd say this, and I mean, on one hand, like, everything gets muddled, and like someone's also played like some of Israel's defense forces are in residential areas. So, I mean, both sides kind of do it. And I typically fall on the side of, I would normally always, and this doesn't sound very progressive, I tend to agree with the Israeli Jewish side of things because I know the entire history of this conflict. And people talk about the right to defend yourself and, how Hamas doesn't even think they're supposed to exist and things like that. But the only issue I have with Israel is that they continue to let these settlements grow. Like you're saying, Mike, if you see where it happened after 1948, it was after World War II, and the English and the rest of the international community created Israel and a part of Palestine. And you can see the two maps of what they agreed to. Of course, you had some Palestinians who never agreed to it, and those sides have always been this conflict, to try to come with a two-state solution. But the problem is, Israel, they do nothing about the increasing settlements that encroach into these people's area. You're basically creating a smaller and smaller and smaller area for these people to reside in. And I understand how Israel's like, look, we've given these people the option, and we have to defend ourselves from rocket fire, from terrorism, all that. I get that. I agree with that. And I agree, Israel, for the most part, has shown restraint that we don't know if Hamas would show them. And specifically, I say Hamas because I consider Hamas and other Palestinians to be two different, I don't consider them one and the same. But Israelis, they will defend settlers. They will allow settlers to encroach more and more into their territory. And eventually, when you keep boxing more people in, eventually it's going to lead into conflict. You can't keep squeezing and allowing it to happen. If Israel's like, look, we have our land. This is our borders. We're not encroaching anymore. This is the line. And again, if you guys throw rockets, we're going to throw them back. We're going to defend ourselves, but we're not going to increase these settlements. I would almost 100% be like, hey, man, that's the best Israel. That's the most they can do. But people can't deny the fact that any Israeli can go and get a settlement which quote unquote is on Palestinian land, and you're seeing their land shrink and shrink each and every year. I'm like, so how do you expect there not to be conflict? Also, I'd like to add that we're kind of missing the bigger picture in all this. I'm 100% sure this conflict was started because Netanyahu was going to be on his way out. They were going to form a government that excluded Netanyahu's part. And lo and behold, a week before, they were going to make a government with a different right-wing faction and a more moderate faction that was going to cut Netanyahu out. All of a sudden, we have fighting, we have conflict, we have rockets, we have more, Israeli incursion, more back and forth, and they didn't form a government. So now Netanyahu stays in power. Put on my tinfoil hat, call me a conspiracy theorist, but it's kind of weird how a week before he's going to get pushed out. Oh shit, here comes the conflict. And he stays in until they have elections again. Real convenient for that guy. So that's how I feel.
To bring this back to kind of where our podcast is a lot of the time. So you guys both watched Falcon and Winter Soldier, right?
Oh yeah.
So the people
Go ahead.
The people coming back from the blip and deciding where you're going to put these people now because their houses have already been taken over by somebody else and shit. That's what we're talking about, right? Because the international community decided that Israel was going to exist. They built Israel. People were already fucking living there. That's kind of what the fuck we're talking about. I mean, it's 50 years on or 60 years on now, but that's the same conflict we're talking about. Hey, what do we do with all these people that came back? We got to take care of them. But what do we do with the people that are there already? Or, now we can't just, who are we kicking out? Who are we telling they can't live where they're living or where they lived? Oh shit!
I like. George
I'm trying to wrap my head around the Thanos blip to the Israeli.
I see exactly what Jeremy's talking about. Yeah. It's true.
Yeah,
because they come back. They've been displaced because they've been gone for 5 years. Other people took their homes houses, or whatnot.
Jobs.
Yeah. And so, but now they come back, and what the fuck are they supposed to do? And so, yeah, that was definitely a very political theme in Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I did see that the correlation. So, but saying I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, that totally is in there. Thanos is whatever. Thanos is gone. I haven't seen the Eternals trailer. Apparently, everyone's mocking him. All the memes online are like the Eternals, like don't mess with anything, don't mess with anything. And then all of a sudden, they decide to make themselves known after the Thanos killed half the universe.
Right. I mean, we're going. Let's go there. I mean, let's talk a little bit. It's. We can geek out. It's going to be, I know Kevin, I have trust in Kevin Feige. I have trust. He knows what he's doing. Marvel has the benefit of the doubt that they're not stupid, but yeah, you're going to have to square away. Okay. So you're super powerful beings. And I'm not really big on my Eternals lore. I don't know if you've read the comics or you're big on it, Mike. But I do know they have to do with the past of the creation of the Marvel Universe. They were created by the Sentials. How do you pronounce them?
Oh, basically, yeah, I know what you're saying. I forget that. I have to look it up almost. It's the guys that Stan Lee was talking to on the moon. He's like, I met Thor or whatever. yes. But basically, the people who created in the Marvel Universe, you have these the Sentials. They created everything. And they created the Eternals, and then the Eternals sort of kind of created Earth. Go ahead, Mike. The Watchers. The Watchers are the ones who watch all the planets. That's who Stan Lee. They thought Stan Lee might be, but no. I mean, go ahead.
The Sentials, they were like the gods. They created everything. They created the Eternals first, then sort of kind of like I said, I'm not up on the whole lore of it, but then they created kind of Earth, humans. In the Marvel Universe proper, I think it deals more with mutants and mutation and all that kind of deal. But supposedly the Eternals is a way to get into the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. It's an easier pathway to get into where they're at. But the question remains, if these people were around and if they knew about Captain America and Iron Man, what the fuck were y'all doing when Thanos was around? Like, were y'all just hanging back and seeing how it all end? Because Thanos is an Eternal. There's what the Eternals, and then there's the what are they called? The there starts with the D, despicable or deplore something. No,
the deplorables.
That was a joke. That was a joke. But and Thanos has the bad gene. So there's the Eternals. You look like a human, but you're superpowers. And then there's their cousins who are like them, but they look more, alien type. And Thanos, these are basically Thanos's people. Like Thanos is of the Eternals. That's where he's from.
The deviants.
The deviants, that's it. So Thanos has the deviant gene. So he is like cousins related to the Eternals. So, I mean, are they going to bring this all back? Is this a way to... But yeah, it does beg the question, like, what the fuck were y'all doing with while Thanos was just chilling?
They were just hanging out. They weren't too concerned about it.
Again, I trust Feige and Chloe Zhao. I mean, they're not, I trust this isn't the DC universe we're talking about here, where nothing has to make sense and we'll just slap it on the screen and you'll watch it because you like Batman and Superman. That billions of dollars.
That is the plan.
Better yet, did you see J.J. Abrams admitted that when they started the trilogy and they made The Force Awakens, they really didn't know
for
where
the trilogy. Yeah.
Probably should let each director make up their own plan as they go along. Probably not the best way to go.
But they did that, but then like they had Rian Johnson do kind of his own thing, and then everyone says, oh, that's the worst one. And then they had Colin Trevorrow. He was making episode 9, and Kathleen Kennedy was like, nah, fuck you, we don't like this. So they kicked him out. They fired him, and they brought J.J. Abrams back for what is it? Rise of Skywalker. And so I don't know. I have only seen it once, 1.5 times. I don't know that I don't hate the movie, and that can go back to Solo. Yeah, was it necessary? No. Is it cool to see like what's his name? Paul Bettany's character. I forget what the name of it. Red something. And then Amelia Clark's character. It's cool to see all that. And I actually didn't mind Alden Ehrenreich. I think that's how you say his name. I didn't mind his performances on Solo, but at the same time, it's basically like saying someone else is going to replace Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones. It's happened in the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles where, who is that? And River Phoenix was even in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Who was it? It was who was in the Young Indiana Jones? It's an actor. Was it Sean Patrick Flannery? I think it was Sean Patrick Flannery from Boondock Saints. But I mean, it's happened. So you just got to think like, are people ready for that? Apparently they weren't ready for Solo, but Solo still actually made a good chunk of change. I think it broke even, but it wasn't enough for it was enough for them to shut down all those, side projects when Rogue One was one of the best Star Wars movies made in my opinion. I don't know.
Well, I mean, the whole thing was they filmed 80% of it. Then they brought in Ron Howard.
Yeah. Ron Howard. Yeah.
I mean, the safest, young, side note, was Sean Patrick Flannery for Young Indiana Jones. But no, I mean, you shoot 80% of a movie, you have Lloyd and Miller, and I don't care what you say, I would still love to see a Lord Miller. Those guys after, I wasn't too, did you see the Mitchells and the Machines?
No, I've seen a bunch of t-shirts and things on the internet about it. Is that, where is that available?
Where do we? HBO, Amazon? No, Netflix.
Is that their new project?
Netflix. Yeah, it was the animated one they came out with. It's on Netflix. It's the Mitchells versus Machines. But yeah. I mean, especially after Spider-Verse, which is my favorite movie of all time. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, 21 Jump Street. Those guys, they have my trust in it. And to know that they were 80% done, and it wasn't what Kathleen Kennedy. It really came down to, and I hate saying this because there's been some in my view, some misogynistic, unfair misogyny thrown at Kathleen Kennedy as being the head of Lucasfilms. On one hand, she could point out like, hey, I've made almost $20 billion off of $4 billion accusation. They're not losing money over there, but some of her choices have been kind of, do we have a plan here? Or we kind of just, I think they, you know, they thought it'd be cool if we let, you know, some auteurs come in and be their own directors and do their own thing, where I think the Marvel way, how Feige runs things, like, hey, we're going to get directors. We want your spin, but we have an idea where this story's going. And before we hire you, you have to be on board to be like, you know, it's basically with Ryan Coogler with Black Panthers. Like, you do what you want to do, but here's where Black Panther fits into our overall universe. And Kathleen Kennedy seemed to just be, I mean, she gave JJ and I mean, with this announcement, obviously JJ's like, okay, I'm going to copy A New Hope. And then after that, you guys figure it out. I'll make a New Hope with a little bit of, you know, changes here and there. And then you guys take over. That's basically what he said. It has to be.
Right.
There's no other, you know, the way to go about it. But the problem is, it's like, if you also see the announcement, she just announced Dave Filoni, guy who created Clone Wars, The Mandalorian, and all that. He's now the, you know, chief executive officer of Lucasfilms. So now all the creative decisions are going through him. So
he's the executive creative director, but he's had that title for over a year, and there's two other people that share it with him. So like, it's nothing new. He's had the role, but it's the first time it was noticed. Yeah, they updated it on the website, and that's how everyone found out about it. But he's had it for a year, but everyone's like, "Oh, great! Yeah, he's awesome. He made the Mandalorian, which is great. He's done the Clone Wars. I'm still in the middle of Clone Wars. He's doing Bad Batch." Great. Yeah, it's
I gotta watch another episode of Bad Batch, but no, it's great. Everything he's done, I've enjoyed. I mean, the actual Clone Wars movie proper, was kind of but given some leeway, he makes great Star Wars stories. He knows the universe, he gets it. He's learned from George, but he's also avoided all the George Lucas mistakes. You know, meaning characters and people who can act and stuff like that. So. But I didn't know. No, I thought it was a new development that he got. Obviously, he was kind of de facto doing this anyway, but I didn't know it was a year. But yeah, there's a lot of misogyny when it comes to, you know, hating on Kathleen Kennedy. People have been asking her to be fired since, you know, I don't know, the Last Jedi, which actually for me, I like The Last Jedi. All the new Star Wars movies, The Last Jedi is my favorite, with an asterisk. The Cancel by Casino Finn part is complete garbage trash, and we don't need to go into that. But
that'd be a separate podcast when we do the Usual Saints screen reviews or rants. We still need to figure that out about that movie. But speaking of, this kind of links into both things. I like how I think of things on the fly. We were talking about China, we were talking about Marvel. Kevin Feige, whatever you want to say his name is. He came out and admitted to the whitewashing of the Tilda Swinton character. What's the name of the Eternal One or whatever she is in Doctor Strange?
No, from Doctor Strange.
No,
the Ancient One.
Ancient One. So he admitted to the whitewashing and he thought he was being progressive, be like, hey, we're going to bring a woman in for the role rather than an old Chinese dude that might be stereotypical or something like that. And plus it won't offend the Chinese market. So they're thinking money. They're thinking, but he's also thought maybe he was being a little progressive, but now he sees that it was basically can be seen as whitewashing. I mean, you can bring in an old Chinese dude and he doesn't have to act like the way they did back in like the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, you know. But I don't know if you guys had any thoughts on that whitewashing. I liked Tilda Swinton's performance, but at the same time, I see how, you know, taking a role that in the comics was an Asian character. I mean, that they probably should have and could have gone Asian with a good actor, but
could have been a female Asian,
right? It could have been a female Asian. This is again where I say these companies, they need a board of common sense. Whereas I'll also admit, I think sometimes some of these companies, they do some of these things, especially on their social media and their marketing department. I think a lot of these things, they're duping people. They're pulling the okie doke where they're looking for the outrage culture, you know, the outrage, the people to talk about on social media, just for a way for a discussion to happen. I think a lot of times we're going to get the okie doke pulled on us without us knowing. But for something like this, I think all Kevin Feige had to do was sit down and be like, hey guys, we can keep this character Asian and not make him a racist stereotype from the 1960s and 70s. We can update him and, make him a normal person. We don't have to go into Asian character. I find it odd that companies feel like, we can't, they get, it's too sensitive and we'll do this. Like, if you use some common sense and if you say, hey, why don't we bring in some Asian writers, some writers from different cultures, be like, hey, we have this Asian character, but we're trying to avoid, tropes, stereotypes and stuff. Put them on the payroll, give us some ideas so we can do these characters. That's all you got to do. All you got to do is just use some common sense, listen, and instead you get wrapped around, let's maybe we'll make her a woman and, it'll be better. And people are like, what? What? I was actually confused. I was like, wait a minute, because I read Doctor Strange back in the day and I knew who the Ancient One was. And I was like, okay, this is a choice. I'm not, crazy. But then again, I do understand how an Asian person, let's say for me, if I start watching Black Panther and all of a sudden, T'Challa's mother is Tilda Swinton, I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm not just, saying, get over it. I understand, but I just wish some of these companies would just use a little more common sense. Like, hey, guys, let's sit down and talk about it. And like, if you want to avoid Asian stereotypes, hey, let's get some Asian people in the room and talk about it and say, hey, how do we do this correctly? That's all you got to do. I don't know. What
do you think about, and this goes on to another thing. Did you guys read the Sandman casting announcement this week? I feel like we're going really long, so if you guys need to go, let me know. But I just have a lot of stuff I want to talk about.
Right.
Yeah, so the Sandman.
I got about 15 minutes. I got to go eat, finish cooking dinner. But go ahead.
All right. The Sandman came out with their casting announcements this week for a good chunk of the cast. And the reason I bring this up is because I've been thinking about getting a tattoo of death from Sandman for a while now. And I'm actually like pushing forward on it. So if you look at the casting,
Jeremy, we know the real reason this came up. Go ahead,
that's
Mike.
right. Yeah, death. The word death. Anyway, moving on.
Mike. Go ahead, Mike.
Anyway, the death. I'm assuming. I know Jeremy probably isn't. Saint, are you familiar with the Sandman comic series?
A little bit. Yeah.
So death in the comic is this like pale white chick, but you don't know if she's a white chick. She's just pale white. You don't know what she is. She's dead. She's the person who kills people. She's the Grim Reaper, basically. So in the new series, the live action series, not like it's an animated series, which is actually a different thing, which we talked about when you weren't here. When we were talking to Zeb Wells, we were talking about how, like on Big Mouth, Jenny Slate isn't voicing the black character's voice anymore, even though she was so perfect. But that's what they decided to do because of all the backlash from the past few years with everything going on. But that's fine. But so people are now up in arms because death in the Sandman live action series, it's going to be a black actress named Kirby Howell Baptiste. I don't know her from anything. I can't recognize her from anything. She might have been in something, but so people on Twitter are like, what the fuck? Why would you sell out Neil Gaiman? I can't believe you did that, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that goes to like what you're talking about, like changing the race of the Ancient One. Yes, this isn't the Ancient One. This isn't an obvious, well, I don't want to say obvious. This isn't an Asian character in the comics. This is an eternal and a different eternal kind of thing. This is one of the 7 original beings who goes around and acts as the Grim Reaper. She's a sexy, Grim Reaper. but I mean, what do you guys think about like them doing that in a live action? Like people are all up in arms about it, but should they be?
Okay, here's my thought about this, and I have an opinion on everything. So here's my opinion on this. One, with the voice actors, I don't really care about the voice acting thing. I don't care if a white person is doing a black voice or a black person doing unless it's completely something like the Cleveland Show or like you said, Big Mouth or something like that, which are basically comedies. They're adult comedies. I don't care. What I really wish these actors would be like, hey, look, I understand people may have issues with it. The only thing we should try to do is just make sure that actors of different diversities get a chance to play these roles. The only thing about Big Mouth, and I don't know because I didn't see the entire, but I didn't know if they had any African Americans besides who is it, Key or Peele? I think Jordan Peele played. What's his name?
Jordan Peele plays One of the characters.
Duke Ellington. He's Duke Ellington.
That's a great performance. I love,
which is funny.
But yeah,
I'm much more concerned if like I don't care who's doing what voice, and just like I understand some people saying, "Hey, should a disabled person play a disabled person? Should this?" All they should do is be like, "We just want to make sure people are getting the opportunities." If you see a pattern developing where it's like, "Hey, we have a show. The show has diverse characters in it, but all we're hiring are white people," or all just like if it's an African American show, if you have a show, even if it's based on, people of color, but we don't have any diverse voices or writers in the room, I think that's an issue. Unless, like I'm saying, in the case of Black Panther, you're not hiring people from that group, then I'm going to look at you. Like, for example, Shanghai and the Legend of the Ten Rings, if you're just hiring actors of, I wouldn't want, Denzel Washington or Michael B. Jordan to be in the movie. As much as I like those actors, it's like they don't belong, in these parts. Let's do better. Let's get more representation, better representation. But also with things like animation, I mean, you have, especially a show like Big Mouth, you basically have people voicing, like, you have the physical manifestations of puberty basically in that show. So the show is a little absurdist, just like with a Cleveland show. You have a talking bear. All that kind of stuff.
I missed him so much.
So on those kind of shows, I mean, I don't really get up in arms, on things like that. And I think, again, take a common sense approach. Let's make sure we're doing our best. Let's give everyone the opportunity to be there, but it shouldn't be an issue. And like I said, this character Death, this isn't a white, black, or whatever character. So who cares who plays that character? I wouldn't be up in arms about it. And sometimes it can work in. We get it, Mike.
We get it, Mike. Just what? But no, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. I feel like we've done an extremely long show, but that's okay. We had the Tam Mom interview. We had a lot of good stuff to talk about. And hey, we're not staying away from politics. See, we can have a nice conversation. It's not always funny, but hey, we can talk about it.
we can also break this show up. There's nothing says that we have to keep it all one. It could be, a midweek episode, just cut in half or something. Or I don't know. What do you think of the Tam Mom interview? We didn't even talk about it. I thought it went pretty well. Go ahead.
You don't know much about Mike's OCD about shit, do you? If you think he can cut this up and make it multiple episodes, that's not in his thing. Like he drives the exact speed limit. Like he races up to 35 and sets the cruise control. Mike cannot do that. There is no changing on the fly with Mike. This is an episode. There is no changing that. I don't just letting you know. Am I wrong, Mike? That was paining you when you heard him say that, wasn't it? You were cringing inside.
I mean, I was going to decline.
Duly noted. Okay. All right.
No, I got it.
That's awesome.
Hey, Mike, I got it. 35 miles an hour, and we're not going any faster. I got it. Here's what it is. I got it. Okay.
I'm just saying, no, if we would if we would have got Billy Cock and Tan Mom today, obviously that wouldn't be the same show. And I would cut it up as need be. Like we've done that before when we did those interviews back in March, Jeremy. We had Amanda Brockett, great woman. What's
great personality.
Great personality. And Michaela Lee the same day, So yeah, I have no problem with that. But I also that was a busy day. I was trying to get everyone on the same thing. But we have Billy Cock tomorrow. Jeremy, are you available? That's gonna be next week's show, 3 p.m.
I'll see what I can do.
All right.
Okay,
that's gonna be fun.
If we do that interview afterwards, maybe we'll just I'll record the audio to try to get for the USSR. And Jeremy, are you up on your Demolition Man yet? Or
yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, cool. So I mean, we can do
notes. I took notes. Yeah. I'm ready to record it whenever.
All right, I didn't do that. Jesus.
No. But we can do a quick, 35, 40 minute, cap.
I was gonna say it's not gonna be as long as the actual movie, right?
No. Although you can't get enough Demolition Man. I mean, it's one of the greatest movies of the 90s.
It is an awesome
More
movie.
demo. Mike,
Yeah, Saint has a certain format he wants for our new podcast. So any listeners to this podcast, we've talked about it a little bit in the past few episodes, but I think this next week, hopefully it'll come into fruition of the usual Saints screen. What's the R?
Whatever you feel like that day.
Let's see. I think reviews work better because when you hear rants, it's like
Lewis Black.
Like we're downing it. I'm sure we're not going to rant about Demolition Man. There'd be other movies I want to rant about, but not Demolition Man.
I got some stuff to talk about in Demolition Man. You know, as much as I love the movie, it's just there's some things, but we'll save that for that podcast. But Saint's got a format. I think he's going to be like kind of the lead on that, and whoever joins him for whatever, he's got a format that he wants us to follow, and I think it's good. We'll use Demolition Man as our test episode. And so after Billy Cock tomorrow, because I can't imagine Billy Cock going much longer. And for listeners, Billy Cock will be next week's episode, so we'll record a show around it. But that's our first musical guest. I'm pretty excited about that. A little punk band from Italy. And the guy speaks pretty good English, but only one of them. So we'll only be able to speak to one of them.
Some of our other interviews I couldn't understand. It's not going to be a big deal. Not saying which ones.
I can't believe I accidentally called Tan Mama Whackpacker. I figured she might be offended at that, so we got to watch that.
She seemed to be. Yeah, she didn't seem very happy with you.
Yeah, she's fine. You saw she loved me at the end. All right,
That's
so
good.
you guys know.
Remember.
You guys know where to find us. UsualSaints.com.
Have you heard of duck sauce?
She went there the second time, and I was like, Saint, this is all you, buddy.
Yeah, I was like,
when Saint came back, I sent him a private message. This shit is all on mic.
Yeah.
That was fun. God,
I know it was great. She was very nice.
Yeah, I hope she calls in and whatnot. I'm gonna start that text thread with the four of us. The five of us.
Jesus.
No, she's very nice.
All right, so usualsaints.com. Find all our social medias. We're the Usual Saints on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I'll put the Tan Mom interview up on YouTube, so it'll be on our website. You can find everywhere to listen to us, streaming, everything like that. I'm thinking about, what do you guys think about reaching out? I know I'm ending. What do you guys think about reaching out to a media company for the show? But see, that's the thing. I think they approach you if they want to work with you. Like Shuli Show, after episode 3, they approached him. Herdat Media approached him about working with him for the show. They're giving him equipment. He's doing it more for them, but it's helping him get the word out, and his listenership exploded. So I'm wondering, like, if I email them and see what their thoughts are. I don't know if they're going to say, hey, you need to pay us, or hey, we will help you get the show out there. We'll take whatever percentage of things. I wonder. Something to look into.
Is this part going to be hated? Like we're talking about behind the scenes stuff, like
we're talking about whatever. If you're listening to us, we try to get listeners, but by
the way, what's the beer you want to sponsor us, Mike? Or cider?
Cider Boys. I have tried Original Sin blackberry cider. It's called Black Widow. I cut my lip on their can, and I tweeted at them. I'm waiting to hear about that. I'm not trying to get a lawsuit going or anything, but I'm like, it was really good beer or cider. It's just your cans, man. You guys really need to work on the can design. If all four of the 6 cans had a little metal tinge that I could cut myself on. Angry Orchard.
Hey, no lawsuit, but will you sponsor our podcast?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking maybe you could get somebody from their company to come on the podcast.
Maybe I could try that. That'd actually be good. Maybe they would throw a sponsorship our way. Yeah, but sorry, you're right. We shouldn't talk material on the show, but I was just curious, like what you guys are thinking. Like, and that's it. But we'll talk about that later.
Okay. Yeah.
We have a 3-hour show today. So everyone, thanks.
It's not that long, is it?
I don't know. It's a while.
It's 5:30. Shit, yeah, 2 hours.
Thanks for listening to the Usual Saints. Hopefully, Vinny's back sooner or later. He said he was going to take a 3-week hiatus. I hope he comes back next week. Maybe he'll come back tomorrow for the thing, but
can you use words I understand? What's hiatus mean?
Hiatus?
Yeah.
You don't know that word? It's only 6 letters word. It's not really that long. It means a break. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you're good. Okay. We're good there. You know what break means? Okay. Good.
Yeah. Like sabbatical.
So for Jeremy and Saint, so Saint can go finish his cooking or eat with his family or whatever he wants to do. I'm Mike D. Thanks for listening to The Usual Saints.
Peace.
There you go.
You didn't do your Vinny impression today, Jeremy? No, we're good.
No, Saint said it. I don't have to say anything.
All right.